Chapter 840. After killing Philip, Qin Haodong put away the Xian Yuan sword and said to Corkina, "From now on, you will take over the Philip family. Then spread my ban. If any vampire family dares to attack the Huaxia people again, they will end up like Philip." Corkina said, "Master, it's easy to take over the Philip family, but it's very difficult to completely control them. They have many Grand Dukes, and I can't stay there all the time." "That's easy. You can choose a qualified Grand Duke from the family and bring him to me. I'll help him promote to the level of prince, and then you can take over the Philip family." "That's great, Master," Corkina said happily. "I have a daughter named Avril. Although she's just over 1,000 years old, she has already reached the level of Grand Duke. Is she okay?" "Of course. Bring her to me." Corkina was now his servant, so Qin Haodong certainly did not mind helping her grow a little. "Thank you, Master." Although vampires had a long life, their fertility was extremely low. Corkina had only had one daughter for so many years. She was naturally very happy that she could grow into a prince. After dealing with the matter here, Qin Haodong took Shiyumi and Lo to the car and left. As for Fabio and the gunmen he brought with him, they were all handed over to Corkina. Their lives were in the hands of this vampire prince. After Qin Haodong left, Cathaway's Saintess awakening returned to normal, which made the people of the Divine Palace rejoice. At this time, the Emperor's decree officially confirmed Zhang Feiyang's identity as the Red High Priest, and he would officially become a member of the Divine Palace. As Qin Haodong had guessed, the news that a Huaxia person had obtained the inheritance of the Holy Hexagram spread throughout the Western world in an instant. In order to maintain the tolerant attitude of the Divine Palace, the Emperor naturally could not oppose it. Therefore, for the first time, a Huaxia person was among the Red High Priests of the Divine Palace. Although Yankovic was extremely unhappy with this decision, he had no choice. He could not openly oppose the Emperor. Alice said to him, "I've already said that you can't be prejudiced against the Huaxia people. The Divine Lord is tolerant. All humans are his people." Yankovic shook his head and said, "I'm not prejudiced against Huaxia people. I just don't think Qin Haodong is a good guy." Alex said, "You can't say that. Have you forgotten that he saved the Holy Maiden of the Divine Court just now? If it weren't for him, Cathaway's awakening would have been extremely difficult. But I still feel that something is wrong. Anthony must have died in his hands. Perhaps he is an undercover agent sent by the Dark Parliament." Alex said with dissatisfaction, "How is this possible? Do you think that an undercover agent of the Dark Parliament will kill one of our cardinal priests and save our saintess? Don't you know who is more important to the Divine Court?" Just then Great Knight Hulk hurriedly walked in from outside. "Miss Alex, something big just happened." "What is it?" Hulk said, "Our people just received news that Qin Haodong killed Prince Philip of the Blood Clan and his subordinate Grand Duke Nemechek." Alex asked, "Do you know why?" "Because Nemechek of the Philip family wanted to kill Miss Shiyumi, whom he had taken away. Qin Haodong killed Philip in a fit of rage. At the same time, he issued a ban on all the Western vampires, forbidding them from attacking the Huaxia people." Yankovic said, "Selfish guy. He only knows how to protect the people of his country." Alex glanced at him and said, "Do you want him to order the Blood Clan not to drink all human blood? Do you think it's possible?" Yankovic was speechless. Not allowing the Blood Clan to drink blood was like not allowing humans to eat. It was impossible. He said with dissatisfaction, "I really don't understand why you keep speaking for that Huaxia guy. I'm just stating the facts. Didn't you just say that he is an undercover agent of the Blood Clan? How did he kill a prince of the Blood Clan in the blink of an eye?" Yankovic had nothing to say, but his resentment towards Qin Haodong deepened. Alex said, "Take some people to guard here. I'll go out for a while." Yankovic had a bad feeling in his heart. "Where are you going?" Alex said, "I'm going to visit Dr. Qin. I think he is too mysterious. There are many things about him that we haven't discovered yet." Yankovic said anxiously, "Alex, do you like that Huaxia guy?" Alex frowned and said, "Don't make it so complicated, okay? I just want to investigate for the Divine Court. He is too mysterious. And I'm free. It has nothing to do with you who I like." "Alex, it's not like that. Yankovic said, I'm just worried about your safety. I think it's dangerous for you to go to his place alone. I'll go with you, Alex said with dissatisfaction. Are you spying on me? Yankovic quickly said, No, I just want to have a look. But I don't like you to follow me. Alex, you just said that we are all free. You have no right to stop me. But if you leave, who will be responsible for this place? Yankovic said, Balderrama and the others will be there. And it's not too far away. If something happens, we can come back in a few minutes. Well, you can come with me, but remember to keep your mouth shut. Don't have any conflict with Mr. Chin. Okay, I'll listen to you. In order to protect Alex, Yankovic agreed. They left the Duke's mansion together and rushed to Chin Haodong's villa. After returning home, Chin Haodong felt that he did not have a good lunch. In the evening, he cooked a large table of delicious dishes. Just when he was about to have dinner with Shi Yumi and Lei Fu, the doorbell suddenly rang. Feeling the two bright auras outside the door, Chin Haodong frowned slightly. He didn't know why the people of the Divine Court came at this time. Lei Fu went to open the door and Alex and Yankovic came in. Seeing Yankovic, Chin Haodong's face became cold. What are you doing here? Did another red-robed high priest of the Divine Court go missing? As a paladin of the Divine Court, Yankovic had always been arrogant. When he was scolded by Chin Haodong as soon as he entered the door, he immediately became angry. But just when he was about to lose his temper, Alex stopped him with a stern look. Mr. Chin, we're here as guests. Don't you welcome us? Alex said and sniffed. What smells so good? Could it be that Dr. Chin made delicious food? Can we have a taste together? Among the people of the Divine Court, Chin Haodong had a good impression of this straightforward red-robed high priest. He nodded and said, Since you're here, let's have dinner together. Then he invited them into the dining room, and everyone sat down to eat. It smells so good. Alex did not put on any airs as a red-robed high priest. She sat down and began to attack the plate of braised eggplant in front of her. Unfortunately, she did not know how to use chopsticks. She tried several times, but failed to eat the delicious food. In the end, Shi Yumi took 2 sets of Western-style knives and forks. Then she forked a piece of eggplant into her mouth. It's delicious. It's so delicious. I've never eaten such delicious food, Alex said and forked another small pie. She took a bite and said, It's delicious. Why is this pizza so strange? Why is the filling in it? And the filling is so strange. Chin Haodong was speechless and explained, This is not pizza. It's our huaxia gourmet pie with the filling of sanxian. Sanxian? Are they 3 kinds of immortals? Alexis asked with a surprised expression. Well, Chin Haodong explained, They're not immortals. They're fresh and delicious. There are chives, eggs, and shrimps in it, so it's called sanxian. Anyway, it's delicious. As she spoke, Alice had already finished the small pie on her plate. Then, she unwillingly forked another piece over. She observed the pie and asked, It's so strange. There's no gap at all. How did you put the filling in? Well, in the face of such a problematic high priest, Chin Haodong was really helpless. Could he still eat happily? At this moment, the door opened and Korkina, the vampire prince, walked in with her daughter Avril. When she saw Yankovic and Alex sitting at the table, she was stunned. Obviously, she didn't expect these 2 people to eat in her master's house. Yankovic naturally knew Korkina. They had just fought in the Grand Duke's mansion last night. He stood up and drew out the Holy Light Cross sword on his back. What are you going to do? When he was about to make a move, Chin Haodong said coldly, This is my home and they are my guests. I don't care what grudges there are between you, but you're not allowed to fight here. Seeing that Chin Haodong was unhappy, Alex stopped Yankovic and said, Mr. Chin is right. We're here as guests, not to fight. Sit down and eat. Yankovic cried. But they're dark creatures, vampires, enemies of our sacred city. As a paladin of the Holy See, how can I sit back and watch? Chin Haodong said again, I don't care if you're from the Holy Court or the Dark Parliament. There's nothing special here. As long as you're in my house, you're my guests. You can fight outside, but you're not allowed to do it here. Well, Yankovic originally wanted to ignore it, but he remembered that Chin Haodong had killed Prince Philip, the strongest of the vampire clan. He knew that this young man was extremely powerful. If he really annoyed him, he and Alex might not be able to gain any advantage. At this time, Alex pulled him back to the chair and said, "We're here as guests. Sit down and eat." Yankovic didn't say anything else after that. Korkina sat next to him with her daughter. Avril was dressed the opposite of her. She had long hair and was wearing a long white dress. She looked gentle and elegant. If one didn't know her background, they would really think that she was a lady. No one would think that she was the Grand Duke of the vampire clan. Qin Haodong looked around the table and couldn't help but feel a little amused. It was really a unique meal. The archpriest and paladin of the Holy Court, the Golden Wolf King of the Dark Parliament, and the vampire prince were sitting at the same table. If there was also a dark wizard, it would be perfect. At this time, a man wrapped in a black robe appeared at the door of the villa. It was the great wizard Sissy. Chapter 841. As one of the top wizards of the Dark Council, Sissy had also participated in the siege of Grand Duke Andrea's mansion. During the day, he met Qin Haodong by chance and immediately felt a familiar aura from him. He realized that the young man in front of him was the one who had broken the black witchcraft he had cast on Angel. However, Sissy was a man who would seek revenge for the smallest grievance and was extremely cunning. He knew that the Huaxia man in front of him must have some ability, since he could break his black witchcraft. In the daytime, the power of his magic would definitely be greatly weakened. Therefore, he secretly made a mark on Shiyumi's body. After dark, he followed the mark and found this place. "Huaxia boy, come out and die." Sisei's voice was very unpleasant. It resounded in the night sky like a crow's caw, and at the same time, it gave people a sense of gloomy fear. Hearing that someone was disrespectful to his master, Lei Fu immediately got up and was about to rush out. Qin Haodong stopped him and said, "Wait a minute, let's go out together." His spirit was very strong. At this time, he had already felt that the dark aura outside the courtyard was very powerful. If Lei Fu didn't transform, he might not be a match for it. A faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He turned around and said to Yankovic and Alex, "It seems that I have some trouble here. Let's go out and have a look." Alex and Yankovic were both guests. Since the master had left, they naturally felt embarrassed to continue eating here, so they followed Qin Haodong to the courtyard. When they saw Sissy standing at the door, Yankovic and Alex were both shocked. They had been enemies for many years, and they had just fought with him last night. Naturally, it was impossible for them not to know that he was a great wizard of the Dark Council. At the same time, Sissy also saw Alex, as well as the vampire prince Korkina, and her daughter standing next to them. The black robe on his body couldn't help but shake, which showed that he was surprised. A Huaxia man, a red high priest of the divine court, a holy knight, a vampire prince of the Dark Council, and a vampire grand duke. How could they be together? It turned out that it was Sissy who was looking for trouble with her master. Korkina was about to step forward, but Qin Haodong stopped her with a look. Although she didn't know what her master meant, as a servant, what she had to do was to obey. Qin Haodong said to Sissy, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" As a great magus of the Dark Council, Sissy had always been arrogant. Although he did not understand the situation before him, he did not change his mind about revenge. One of the most important reasons was that he had his own means of escape. Even if the opponent had a holy knight and a cardinal priest, he could still escape if he couldn't beat them. "Huaxia man, was it you who broke the black witchcraft I cast on that little girl?" Qin Haodong nodded and said, "You're the murderer who killed such a young child. According to the rules of our dark sorcerer tribe, anyone who dares to destroy our sorcery will have their fresh blood offered to the dark sorcerer god. So, you must die today. What's so great about being a dark magus? Can't you see that I have a grand knight protecting me?" Qin Haodong said to Yankovic with a playful smile on his face. "Mr. Holy Knight, am I right? They are dark creatures and enemies of the divine court. As a member of the divine court, you can't just sit back and watch." Although he could take care of Sissy himself, the guy next to him had just sat at his table and pretended to be cool. It was natural for him to use him as a free fighter. Yankovic's expression changed. Naturally, he did not want to be Qin Haodong's free fighter. So he had not said a word and did not show it. But now that Sisay had said his righteous words again, as a holy knight of the divine court, he could not back down. He could only bite the bullet and stand out. Sisay, with me Yankovic here, don't even think about doing anything. I advise you to surrender as soon as possible, and use the holy light of the Lord God to purify your dark soul. Sisay said coldly. Yankovic, don't think that the people of the divine court are great. Today, I'm looking for a Huaxia man. But if you insist on standing out, I don't mind killing you too. Evil creatures of darkness, die! Yankovic shouted, and pulled out the holy light cross sword on his back. A sharp holy light slashed out. Great wizard Sisay lifted his black robe sleeve, and flicked it up gently. A cloud of black gas flew out, and wrapped around the holy light slash. Although the holy light could restrain dark creatures, it was limited. This cloud of black gas was too powerful. In the end, it melted into the night along with the holy light cross sword. Being able to easily block the attack of a holy knight, it was enough to show how powerful Sisay's magic power was. After blocking that attack, Sisay didn't stop. He raised his other sleeve, and a sparkling crystal staff appeared in his hand. Yankovic, I'll let you taste the feeling of hundreds of beasts devouring your soul. After saying that, he dripped a drop of blood on the crystal staff. Then, black smoke came out of the staff and finally turned into the souls of beasts. There were lions, tigers, bears, and elephants. After being refined by black witchcraft, they were extremely powerful. They all pounced on Yankovic as if they were real. In the face of the powerful black witchcraft, Yankovic did not dare to be careless. He slashed with the holy light cross sword in his hand, and rays of holy light shot towards those beast souls. He was the most powerful holy knight in the palace of gods. The holy light cross sword in his hand was also a holy item passed down from the palace of gods. It was extremely powerful. A ferocious tiger beast soul pounced towards Yankovic. However, before it could get close, a ray of holy light had already split it in half and purified it. In less than a minute, the hundreds of beast souls that Sisay had released were all killed by Yankovic. After a small victory, he was obviously very proud. He shouted to Sisay, "Quickly kneel and beg for mercy. Let my Lord God purify your soul." Sisay's entire body was wrapped in a black robe. Even his face could not be seen clearly. However, from the slight trembling of his robe, it could be seen that he was extremely angry. Darkness descends. Lowly creature, sacrifice your soul, soul strangulation. After he finished chanting, an even denser black fog shot out from the crystal staff. However, this time, it did not shoot towards Yankovic. Instead, it flew into the air. The black fog stopped when it was about 10 meters above the ground. It formed an inverted top, and then began to spin rapidly. After the black fog started to spin, it formed a black vortex. A huge suction force swept towards Yankovic. It was like a range hood, but also like a bottomless black hole. Yankovic's expression changed. He could already feel the huge power of the black vortex. In his mind, he had an urge to leave his body. If his soul was really sucked into the black vortex, he would be doomed eternally. Lord God, please bestow me power. Holy light slash. With a loud shout, the holy light cross sword suddenly burst into a dazzling light. Like a shining meteor, it flew towards the black vortex above his head. With a loud bang, the black and white holy light collided, setting off a violent whirlwind that swept in all directions. Yankovic's sword was very powerful, but it did not completely disintegrate the vortex above his head. The top formed by the black fog paused for a moment before spinning again. Soon it returned to its previous state. Yankovic was secretly shocked. He had used all his strength in that sword strike, but he did not expect that he could not destroy Sisay's witchcraft. Seeing that the suction force was coming again, he had no choice but to slash again. However, the sword light could only alleviate the suction force. It could not completely destroy the black fog above his head. If this continued, he would die of exhaustion. After slashing more than a dozen times, Yankovic's head was already covered in cold sweat. The holy light he slashed out was getting weaker and weaker. It seemed like he could not hold on any longer. Although his soul was barely holding on and not being sucked away, under the pull of the black vortex, his originally elegant golden hair flew upwards, making him look like Lei Jinzi from the Eastern myths. His clothes were also in a mess, making him look extremely haggard. This situation could be seen clearly by the people around him. Qin Haodong still had a smile on his face. Ever since they met, this guy had repeatedly acted tough and kept causing trouble for him. It was only right for him to suffer a little. As for Corkina, Lev and the others, they were all enemies of the Holy Palace. They wanted his soul to be sucked away by Sisay. However, Alex did not think so. After all, she and Yankovic were both from the Holy Palace. She could not watch her companion die under the black witchcraft. At the critical moment, she still made a move. God rules everything. God said that all dark creatures in the world should evolve. Purification. After Alex finished chanting, she pointed at the black vortex in the sky with one hand. The night sky suddenly lit up, and a holy light fell, covering the black vortex completely. Although Sisay had a slight advantage in the battle with Yankovic, he could not face the joint forces of the Red Priest and the Paladin. The black vortex was instantly purified by Alex's purification. Yankovic finally breathed a sigh of relief. He wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and tidied up his messy hair. He had fought with Sisay many times before, but he had never seen such a strange black witchcraft. He had almost suffered a great loss today. Most importantly, he had embarrassed himself in front of Qin Haodong. This made him feel ashamed. In a rage, he raised the holy light cross sword in his hand and shouted, "Sisay, I must kill you today. The people from the Holy Palace are really shameless. The two of you actually joined forces. I'll remember today's score and settle it with you later." Now that he knew he was no match for Alex and Yankovic, he stomped his foot lightly and turned into a black light, ready to leave. However, with a muffled bang, the black light that he had turned into hit an invisible wall and was directly knocked back. He did not even move half a step. What is this thing? Sisay was completely flustered. The reason why he had not panicked when facing so many people was that he had his own means of escape. However, the method that had always worked in the past had suddenly failed. He immediately panicked and once again used his spell to fly out. However, like last time, the black light that he had turned into hit an invisible wall again and was bounced back. Alex and Yankovic were old rivals with Sisay. They knew that he had such a life-saving method, so they did not expect to kill him here. Now, they were surprised to see that he suddenly could not run away. Although they did not understand what was going on, after the shock, their faces were full of joy. If they could get rid of a great wizard of the Covenant of Darkness, it would definitely be a great contribution to the Holy Palace. Only Qin Haodong still had a calm smile on his face. He had just set up a trap around them. Without his permission, no one could leave. Chapter 842. Holy Light Slash. Just as Sisay was in a daze, Yankovic slashed out with his sword. The Lord of Gods controls everything. If the Lord of Gods says time stands still, time will stand still. Great prophecy. Alice obviously did not want to let go of this rare opportunity either. She cooperated and used the great prophecy to seal the space around Sisay. Facing the joint attack of two gods, Sisay hurriedly released a ball of black gas to protect himself. However, how could he be a match for the Cardinal Priest and the Holy Knight alone? The ball of black gas was quickly purified by the Holy Light Cross Sword. When the black gas dissipated, Sisay's face appeared in front of everyone. It was an extremely horrifying face. Not only was there no color of blood, but there was also almost no flesh. It was just a layer of skin on his skeleton-like face. His two eerie eyes glowed with a blood-red light. "Sisay, you won't be able to escape today. Die." Seeing that he was about to make a great contribution, Yankovic became even more excited. He raised the Holy Light Cross Sword for the second time. "You want to kill me? It's not that easy." A hint of madness flashed across Sisay's strange face. He then quickly chanted a spell. "Respected God of Darkness, I am willing to offer my life as a sacrifice. I beg you to cast the curse of darkness. Let these people become your sacrifices, Curse of the God of Darkness. At the last moment of his life, this great wizard did not choose to wait for death. Instead, he used his life as a sacrifice to cast the most powerful black witchcraft, Curse of the God of Darkness. After he finished chanting the spell, before the holy light cross sword could reach him, he turned into a cloud of blood mist with a bang. Strangely, after his body turned into a cloud of blood mist, it did not dissipate. Instead, it emitted a huge pressure, as if the God of Darkness had really descended. Qin Haodong was also shocked. He had set up the trapping formation to keep Sisay here. He did not want to leave another potential enemy alive. He also wanted Yankovic to fight with him until both of them were injured. However, he did not expect this guy to use such a terrifying black witchcraft. In order to protect the people on his side, he hurriedly took out the demon vanquishing wand from his storage ring. The demon vanquishing staff was a Buddhist divine artifact. After it appeared, it immediately sensed the aura of black witchcraft and immediately shone brightly. Qin Haodong breathed a sigh of relief and controlled the Buddha light to protect Shiyumi, Alice, and the others. In order to seize the credit, Yankovic had already rushed in front of Sisay. He was far away from them, and the Buddha's light could not reach him. Even if Qin Haodong wanted to save him, he could not. All of this happened in an instant. The curse of the God of Darkness was released at the cost of one's life, so its power was naturally astonishing. Yankovic was scared out of his wits and slashed with all his might. Unfortunately, the little bit of holy energy, released by the holy light cross sword, could not withstand a single blow from the God of Darkness curse. In the blink of an eye, it was completely devoured, and his entire body was shrouded in a bloody mist. Ah! After letting out a miserable howl, the holy light cross sword fell to the ground with a clang. The bloody mist continued to devour, shrouding Qin Haodong and the others. In the bloody mist, there was a huge figure of a demon. It opened its bloody mouth and wanted to swallow all of them in one bite. However, the demon vanquishing staff was a Buddhist divine artifact. The Buddha light it emitted was like an indestructible barrier, firmly blocking the bloody mist. A few seconds later, the demon let out an unwilling roar, and then slowly dissipated into the air. When the red mist dissipated, everyone heaved a sigh of relief, as if they had taken a trip to hell. There was only a crystal staff left where Caesar's office used to be. Alice hurriedly looked in Yankovic's direction, only to see that it was empty, and only a holy light cross sword was lying on the ground. Her face suddenly turned pale, and her expression was dull. Yesterday, they had just lost a red high priest, Anthony, and today a holy knight Yankovic had died. For the divine court, this was something that had not happened in decades. Qin Haodong's expression was indifferent. He picked up the holy light cross sword and said to Alex, "Don't be too sad. After all, you people from the divine court have killed an advanced wizard. This is not a bad deal." Alice came back to her senses and shook her head. There are only 4 holy knights in the divine court. Now that one has been lost, I'm afraid it will be hard for me to explain to the emperor. Lev said, "What's there to explain? Sisay's black magic was too terrifying. If not for Master protecting us in time, we would all have died." Alice also knew this. She said to Qin Haodong, "Qin, thank you for saving me." "This is nothing." Qin Haodong held the holy light cross sword in his hand and said, "This sword looks good. Is it a holy relic of the divine court?" Alice said, "That's right. The holy light cross sword is the same as our holy hexagram. They are both holy relic of the divine court. Only by obtaining its inheritance can one become a new holy knight." Qin Haodong's heart skipped a beat. He asked, "What are the conditions to obtain the inheritance of a holy knight?" "The holy knights of the divine court must be strong, brave, pure, and have a heart of justice." Qin Haodong said, "If that's the case, it'll be easy. I know someone who meets your requirements. He can inherit the inheritance of your holy knights." Alice said in astonishment, "Really? You're not lying to me, are you?" Generally speaking, it would take 2 or 3 years for the divine court to find an inheritor of a holy relic. Therefore, once a holy knight or a red high priest was lost, it would be difficult for them to recover their strength in a short time. It would also be a loss for the divine court. Qin Haodong said with a smile. Miss Alice, how could I lie to you? How about this, you go to the room and rest for a while. I'll give you a vigorous holy knight later. He'll definitely be 10 times stronger than the old Yankovic. Alice nodded in confusion. At the same time, she had a glimmer of hope. If she could find the inheritor of the holy knight quickly, it should be able to ease the emperor's anger. Shiyumi took Alice and the others back into the room. Qin Haodong took out his mobile phone and dialed Chen Fugui's number. Come here, there's something I need you to do. Ma Wenjua, Chen Fugui, and the others were lurking near his house. After receiving the order, Chen Fugui soon appeared in the courtyard of the villa. Boss, what do you need me to do? Qin Haodong raised the holy light cross sword in his hand and said, I want you to inherit this sword and become a holy knight in the divine court. Chen Fugui said hesitantly, Boss, will that work? Why not? As long as you inherit this sword, you'll have the strength of a saint. Don't you want to? Chen Fugui said, Of course I'm willing to improve my strength, but I'm a rough man. Can I be a holy knight? Don't worry about that. Just do as I say. After Qin Haodong said that, he took out a cleansing pill and gave it to Chen Fugui. As a former king of the army and a 9th-level supreme power master, Chen Fugui was strong and brave. At the same time, he had a righteous heart. What he lacked now was a pure physique. After eating the cleansing pill, the last obstacle was removed. Try it and see how it works. Qin Haodong shook his hand, and the holy light cross sword flew toward Chen Fugui. Chen Fugui reached out and grabbed the hilt. Suddenly, the sword shone brightly, and many things appeared in his mind. This was the inheritance of the holy knight. As Qin Haodong expected, Chen Fugui became a holy knight of the divine court without any effort. Feeling the sudden surge of light aura, Alex ran out of the room. She was slightly stunned when she saw Chen Fugui. She didn't expect the holy light cross sword to have another inheritance so soon. Miss Alex, this is my friend, Mr. Chen Fugui. He will be the new holy knight of the divine court. Oh my God, how did you do it? Alex felt that her brain wasn't working well. Yesterday, the holy hexagram had chosen a Huaxia man as its inheritance. Today, the holy light cross sword had chosen another Huaxia man. This not only broke the tradition of the divine court for thousands of years, but also subverted her understanding. Miss Alex, I didn't do anything. It's just that this friend of mine meets the requirements you mentioned, so I asked him to come. Qin Haodong said with a smile. Otherwise, do you think I have the ability to influence the inheritance of the divine court? Alex agreed with his words. Whether it was the holy hexagram or the holy light cross sword, they were holy relics that had been passed down for thousands of years. Legend had it that they were the property left by the Lord God. Even the Lord God Emperor couldn't influence the choice of the holy relics, let alone the Huaxia man in front of her. Thinking of this, the doubt in her heart was dispelled. Qin Haodong said to Chen Fugui, Show Miss Alex the inheritance you have obtained. Chen Fugui nodded, drew out the holy light cross sword, and slashed at the void. After this slash, there was a sharp sound of breaking through the air, and at the same time, a dazzling holy light shot out. Alex's expression changed again. The strength that Chen Fugui had shown was too powerful. Not only was the holy light more than twice as powerful as Yankovic's, but it also carried a sharp aura, which was something that no holy knight had. Of course, she didn't know that Chen Fugui had been a 9th-level supreme power realm expert before. And now he could be regarded as a dual cultivator of the divine court and Huaxia martial arts. Moreover, according to the conditions of the holy knight's inheritance, he was much stronger than Yankovic in terms of strength, courage, and righteousness. Coupled with the effect of the cleansing pill, the degree of inheritance he had obtained was far higher than that of Yankovic. Korkina, Loeb, and the others were also shocked. If they were to fight against such a holy knight with their strength, they would probably have to turn around and run. Qin Haodong said to Alex, What do you think? Are you satisfied with me as a friend? Qin, you really surprised me, Alex said. But such a big thing has happened. I have to go back and report to the Lord God Emperor immediately. Chen Fugui's strength was naturally a good thing, but the appearance of 2 Huaxia people in the divine court was absolutely strange. She had to report it to the Lord God Emperor immediately. After that, Alex left the villa with Chen Fuguei and rushed to Grand Duke Andrea's mansion. Looking at their backs, Qin Haodong's mouth curled into a playful smile. If the Red High Priest and the Holy Knights of the Divine Court were all replaced by his own people, how would the Lord God Emperor feel? After dealing with the Divine Court, he turned around and said to Corkina and Avril, "You two come with me." After that, he took the two to the small valley not far from the villa. First, he set up an aura shielding formation, and then a lunar energy gathering formation. "You two are ready. I'll help you improve your strength." "Thank you, Master," Corkina said with a happy face. Chapter 843. At the level of a vampire prince, it was extremely difficult to take a step forward. Qin Haodong activated the formation, and a solid beam of light shot down from the sky. The rich power of Yin drowned Corkina and Avril. Under the cover of the power of Yin, Corkina and Avril both turned into bats. Only in this state could they maximize the speed of their absorption. Feeling the rapid improvement of their bloodline, they were so excited that they wanted to scream. Although they had lived for thousands of years, they had never cultivated as freely as they did now. But Qin Haodong frowned. This speed was still too slow in his eyes. If he wanted to help Avril reach the level of prince, it would probably take the whole night. He did not have that much time to waste. He strode into the great Yin energy gathering formation and scanned the two bats with his primordial spirit, getting a clear picture of their physical condition. Although they were bats, their meridians were similar to human bodies. There were many places in their bodies that were blocked. These blocked meridians greatly reduced the speed at which they could absorb the power of Yin. He took out the needle bag from his pocket and pierced the silver needles into Corkina and Avril's bodies one by one, using the greenwood genuine qi to open up the blocked meridians. About 10 minutes later, he waved his hand and withdrew all the silver needles. At this moment, the speed at which the two vampires absorbed the power of Yin suddenly increased by several times. They were like two exhaust hoods with a cheat code. In the blink of an eye, the power of Yin was completely absorbed. Under this rapid absorption, after only an hour, Avril's two wings had completely turned gold. She had entered the level of vampire prince. As for Corkina, except for her head, the rest of her body had turned gold. She had forcibly risen from the early stage of prince to the middle stage of prince. Now she could completely match an expert in the middle stage of the saint realm. At the same time, the bodies of the two bats had almost doubled in size. Seeing that it was about time, Qin Haodong stopped the Yin gathering formation. Corkina and Avril ended their state of cultivation and transformed back into human forms. "Master, why did you stop? If I had cultivated a little longer, I would have reached the level of vampire queen," Corkina said with an unresigned look on her face. The feeling of rapid cultivation just now was simply too refreshing. Although Avril did not say anything, her eyes flashed with excitement. Clearly, she was still not satisfied with her rank. Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "There is an old saying in Huaxia that more haste, less speed. You have improved too much today. The speed of absorption is too fast, and your body's strength can't keep up. If you continue to cultivate at this speed, I'm afraid you'll explode and die before you can become a vampire queen." Only then did Corkina calm down from her excitement. She examined herself again and confirmed that her body had indeed reached its limit. This scared her so much that she broke out in a cold sweat. If Qin Haodong had not stopped in time, she and her daughter would have been killed by the strong Tai Yin Qi. "Thank you, Master." The two vampire princes bowed to Qin Haodong to thank him. "Don't worry. You've improved too quickly this time. I'll help you improve again after you've digested it," Qin Haodong said. "Avril is now a prince. Let her take over the Philip family." "Yes, Master. We'll do it now," Corkina said confidently. The Philip family was the most powerful of the 6 vampire families. Even though Prince Philip had been killed by Qin Haodong, there were still more than a dozen powerful Grand Dukes. With Avril's previous strength, it was impossible for her to control the whole family. But now it was different. She had become a vampire prince, In the dark world, strength meant everything. Besides, she had Corkina behind her. Now, apart from the vampire queen, Corkina could be said to be the strongest among the vampires. She was definitely more powerful than the other princes. Corkina took Avril and flew toward the vampires. Qin Haodong returned to the villa alone. It was almost midnight. The light in Shiyumi's room was still on, but he did not go there. Instead, he returned to his room alone. Although this woman had always been affectionate to him, Qin Haodong had a feeling that he could not see through her. Because of this, he just took Corkina and her daughter outside to improve their cultivation. He did not want to expose too much in front of Shiyumi. He sat in the chair and pondered for a while. He had not found the alien demon yet, so he did not know how strong they were. But the Emperor God and the vampire queen in front of him were much stronger than him. Now he had to improve his cultivation as soon as possible. But he had used up all the upper-level spirit stones in the 12 zodiacs, so it would not be easy to improve his cultivation. Thinking of this, he took out Kim Jihyun's map from the storage ring. Maybe only by finding the ancient relic could he make further progress. He took the map and studied it carefully, but after a long time, he still could not figure out where it was. It seemed that there was no such place in Huaxia. "Master, you're back." At this time, Lev brought a cup of coffee and respectfully handed it to him. Yes, Qin Haodong nodded. He trusted the golden-haired wolf king, who had signed a master-servant contract, so he did not put the map away. Lev put the coffee on the desk, glanced at the map in front of Qin Haodong, and said, "Boss, isn't this the map of the Crow Grand Canyon? Are you going to travel there? I tell you, there is nothing interesting there except a large number of crows." Qin Haodong asked in surprise, "Do you know this map, Lev?" Lev said, "Of course I do. I was a geological survey engineer before my awakening, so I know the terrain and geology of all of Europe very well. After my awakening, I had to face the endless pursuit of the divine court every day, so I naturally had to study where to escape to. I dare not say anything else, but I'm afraid no one in the Western world is more familiar with maps than me, so I know where it is at a glance. This place in the central circle is called the Crow Grand Canyon. I have been there in the process of escaping. It is a very desolate place, and there is nothing but countless crows." Qin Haodong was overjoyed. He didn't expect Lei Fu to recognize his map. "Where is the Crow Grand Canyon? How far is it from here?" Lev said, "Not too far, about 400 or 500 kilometers away. If Master wants to go, we can get there in a day." Qin Haodong was hesitating about whether he should rush there with Lev overnight. Suddenly, his expression changed as he sensed a huge energy coming from the west. Lo also sensed that something was amiss. The two of them hurried to the courtyard and looked to the west. Although it was far away, they could still see a powerful blood-red aura rising into the sky from the Grand Duke's mansion, covering the entire west. This energy was so powerful that a single glance at it would fill anyone with fear. Lev cried out in shock. "This is the aura of the vampire queen Sharapova. She actually came to the Grand Duke's mansion. It seems that the Holy Virgin of the Divine Court is in trouble." Qin Haodong frowned. The aura of the vampire queen was comparable to that of a late-stage saint. Even the red-robed archbishops and the holy knights of the Divine Court could not resist it together. He was hesitating about whether he should go and help Cathaway. Suddenly, another huge aura of light rose from the Grand Duke's mansion. The aura was even stronger than that of the vampire queen. Lev exclaimed again, "Divine Emperor! This is the aura of Divine Emperor Richcard. I didn't expect him to come here. Didn't they say that the Divine Emperor would not easily leave the Holy City?" Qin Haodong breathed a sigh of relief. After all, Cathaway was a friend of his. He could not just watch her be killed by the dark world of the West. However, the power shown by the vampire queen was not something that he could match at the moment. It was the best result that the Divine Emperor could arrive at the critical moment. Then, the sounds of killing rose from the Grand Duke's mansion. The people of the Divine Court and the Dark World were fighting. The divine aura of the Divine Emperor and the blood aura of the Vampire Queen were constantly entangled, making earth-shattering noises from time to time. The fight went on for a full hour. Suddenly, the aura of light on the Divine Court's side soared, and quickly suppressed the blood aura of the vampire queen. Lev cried. This should be the divine emperor launching God's favor. It seems that Sharapova has lost again. Over the years, the divine court and the dark world had fought many times. In the end, Sharapova had been defeated by the divine emperor Richcard's favor. Sure enough, the blood aura on the dark world side was quickly suppressed by the aura of light, and eventually disappeared. Seeing that there was no more excitement to watch, Qin Haodong was about to go back to sleep. At this moment, a red blood light streaked across the sky and quickly arrived in front of his manor. This speed was simply too fast. Immediately after, a great sense of danger assaulted him. Qin Haodong had just tightened his muscles, but before he could react, a woman in gorgeous clothes had appeared in front of him. She hurriedly cried, "Boy, find a place to hide me, or I will tear you apart immediately." Qin Haodong looked at the woman, and found that she was the kind of plump. She was a model of buttocks, the type that would make any man feel a primal impulse when he saw her. At this time, the woman was covered in blood, and there was a deep bloody hole on her left shoulder. The outside was shrouded in a strong aura of light. It was obvious that she had been injured by the people of the divine court. "Are you the vampire queen?" Qin Haodong soon understood what was going on. The only expert who could reach this level was the vampire queen Sharapova. It seemed that she had fled here after being seriously injured by the divine emperor. Sharapova looked back nervously and cried, "Boy, don't talk nonsense. Find a place to hide me, or no one will survive when Richcard comes." Qin Haodong originally did not want to get involved in the battle between the divine emperor and the vampire queen, but he saw Sharapova's fierce eyes. If he refused, she would immediately kill him and Leviticus. After hesitating for a moment, he pointed to a cardboard box next to him and said, "Hide there." Sharapova's eyes were full of fierceness. "Boy, you are playing with me. Do you want to die?" Qin Haodong said, "How dare I provoke you? When the divine emperor comes, it's useless no matter how well you hide. It's better to be above board. I have a way to ensure that he won't find you." Sharapova originally wanted to say something, but she felt the rising aura of light behind her. The divine emperor was about to arrive. "Boy, I hope you keep your word. Otherwise, if I am found, you will be the first to be killed." After saying that, Sharapova turned into a blood-red bat and flew into the cardboard box. Chapter 844. Qin Haodong flicked his index finger and quickly set up an aura-concealing restriction to seal the cardboard box. Just as he finished all this, the aura of light suddenly flourished behind him, and an old white man in splendid clothes appeared behind him. Seeing this man, Lei Fu's body could not help but tremble slightly. He remembered that Qin Haodong had said that he had a concealing formation on his body. Even if the divine emperor came in person, he would not be able to find him, so he barely calmed down. The old white man was the head of the divine court, divine emperor Richcard. Unlike Sharapova's flirtatiousness, Richcard exuded a sacred aura, which made people involuntarily feel awe from the bottom of their hearts when they saw him. He wore the crown of God on his head, and a golden silk imperial robe, unique to the divine emperor. He held a very short staff in his hand, which was the supreme holy object of the divine court, God's favor. Qin Haodong instantly felt the power of God's favor. It was worthy of being the holy object of the divine court, containing extremely powerful light power. He looked away from God's favor and shifted his gaze to Richcard's face. He was slightly stunned at first, then a flash of surprise. His expression was as if he had suddenly seen delicious food after starving for a long time. His eyes were fixed on the crown of God on the divine emperor's head. The reason why he lost his composure was that the crown of God was inlaid with a pearl the size of a pigeon's egg. This pearl was a priceless treasure in the eyes of ordinary people, but it was completely different for a cultivator. This was because it was a top-grade spirit stone, which was 100 times purer than the top-grade crystal in the bronze head of the 12 zodiac animals. He did not expect that there were not only top-grade spirit stones on Earth, but also rare treasures like the top-grade spirit stone. If Qin Haodong got this top-grade spirit stone now, he could immediately break through to the middle stage of the Yuanying realm, or even higher. Seeing the young man in front of him staring at him, Divine Emperor Richcard said, "Young man, what are you looking at?" Qin Haodong came to his senses. Richcard was the Divine Emperor, so what he needed was the aura of light. He had no interest in the top-grade spirit stone. Just as he did not need the divine hexagram, Richcard did not need the top-grade spirit stone. It was just a decoration on his head. It was inevitable to get this top-grade spirit stone, but he did not want to alarm Richcard in advance. He put on a greedy expression and said, "Sir, I see that the gemstone on your hat is particularly beautiful. It must be worth a lot of money, right?" Richcard was slightly stunned and said, "Young man, the Lord said that money and treasures are fleeting. Don't be blinded by them." Qin Haodong said, "Sir, I'm just a layman. I'm not as noble as you. I just like these vulgar things. I really like the bead on your hat. How about selling it to me? You can name your price." Richcard didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He had ruled the West for so long, but this was the first time someone wanted to buy the jewel on his crown of gods. "Young man, my jewel is one with the hat. I'm not selling it." "Sir, you just said that these are just fleeting clouds. Since you don't care, then sell it to me. If you can't bear to take it apart, then sell it to me together with the hat. I'll definitely give you a satisfactory price." Richcard shook his head and no longer paid attention to Qin Haodong's topic. He asked, "Young man, did you just see a woman running here, or did you see a strange bat flying over?" Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "No, I've been sitting here looking at the stars. I didn't see anyone coming." Richcard frowned slightly. With his ability, he was extremely sensitive to Sharapova's aura. He knew that she had fled here and disappeared here. How could she suddenly disappear? "Young man, to tell you the truth, I am Richcard, the Divine Emperor of the Divine Court. I am hunting down a member of the Blood Clan who has escaped. She is the legendary vampire. If I can't capture her, she will probably suck you dry. You are the Divine Emperor. I've been looking forward to meeting you for a long time." Qin Haodong put on a look of admiration and said, "Divine Emperor, I really didn't see any woman, nor did I see a vampire bat. Since that thing is so dangerous, I beg you to take her away quickly. Otherwise, I won't dare to go out at night in the future." Richcard was dubious about his words, but after glancing around the yard, he still did not feel the aura of the vampire. Just then 2 more figures galloped over. They were the red-clothed high priest, Alex and Balderrama. After the 2 men saw Richcard, they said respectfully, "Greetings, Your Majesty." Richcard asked, "Have you found any traces of Sharapova nearby?" Alice said, "Your Majesty, we didn't see her shadow." Richcard said with regret, "Sharapova is really cunning. She was seriously injured, but I didn't expect her to escape again." Balderrama said, "She can only escape for a while. With Divine Emperor here, she will be killed sooner or later." Alex glanced at Qin Haodong next to her and said, "Divine Emperor, this is Dr. Qin Haodong, whom I reported to you. He cured the Holy Virgin's illness." "Oh, so this is Mr. Qin." Richcard looked at Qin Haodong again. A red-clothed high priest and a holy knight of the Divine Court had all become Huaxia people. According to the report, they all had more or less contact with this young man, so he immediately re-examined this seemingly ordinary Huaxia man. He said, "Young man, thank you for saving our Holy Virgin." Qin Haodong said, "Mr. Divine Emperor, it's nothing. I'm a doctor. It's my duty to treat patients." Richcard said, "You're not arrogant or rash. Very good, young man. Are you in the mood to join our divine court, become a servant of the Lord of God, and bask in the glory of God together?" Envy flashed across Alex and Balderrama's faces. In their memory, this was the first time that the Divine Emperor had invited someone to join the divine court. It was definitely a supreme glory. Qin Haodong did not think so. What he wanted now was the top-grade spirit stone on the divine crown. As for glory and the like, it was all fleeting. "Mr. Divine Emperor, I'm just a layman. I prefer to be a doctor." Speaking of this, his expression changed. "But if you give me the jewel on your hat, I can consider joining." Hearing his words, Alex's beautiful big eyes suddenly widened. Someone dared to ask for the jewel on the divine crown. Wasn't this crazy? That's really a pity. Richcard shook his head and continued. Dr. Qin, I've heard something about you. Since you don't want to join the divine court, that's fine. But I also don't want you to get too close to those people in the dark world. Don't worry. I won't join the divine court, nor will I join the dark council. I'm a Huaxia person. I'm not interested in your Western affairs. That's for the best. Richcard looked at Qin Haodong with a deep gaze and said, I heard that you recommended Qin Fugui to Alex. How do you know that he will be recognized by the Holy Cross sword? Qin Haodong said, Who can say for sure about this kind of thing? I just think that Qin Fugui completely meets the requirements of a paladin that Alex mentioned. So I let him try. I didn't expect him to succeed. 2 Huaxia people had appeared in the divine court one after another. It was impossible for Richcard not to be suspicious. But he couldn't believe that it was the Huaxia person in front of him. After all, even he couldn't control the sacred weapon of the divine court. It was impossible for a Huaxia person without any holy power to do so. Dr. Qin, I really hope that we can be friends forever and not enemies. After Richcard finished speaking, he left with Alex and Balderrama. After these people were far away, Lo breathed a sigh of relief and exclaimed, It's really scary. As the Golden Wolf King of the Dark World, it was the first time that he had been in such close contact with someone from the divine court. The powerful divine aura of Richcard's body almost made him breathless. He had been standing quietly at the side just now. He didn't even dare to breathe loudly, let alone speak. He was afraid that he would expose his identity. Not only would he lose his life, but he would also bring trouble to Qin Haodong. At this time, the cardboard box next to him turned into a mass of powder with a snap. Sharapova once again turned into a beautiful woman and appeared in front of the 2 men. Boy, how did you do it? You even deceived the divine emperor Richcard. She had been so nervous just now that she was afraid that she would be attacked by the divine emperor if she didn't pay attention. But in the end, Richcard didn't feel her existence, which made her feel lucky and a little puzzled at the same time. Qin Haodong said, It's nothing. It's just a small trick. It's just some small magic from the east. Sharapova's eyes wandered and she said in a charming voice, Huaxia man, tell me your secret skill. You can make any conditions you want. I can even agree to sleep with you. As a member of the Dark Clan, she had realized how precious Qin Haodong's skill was. As long as they learned it, they could get rid of the endless pursuit of the divine court in the future. Although Sharapova's performance was very tempting, Qin Haodong would not be interested in such an old bat who had lived for thousands of years. I'm sorry, this is the Tao of the East. Even if I teach you, you won't be able to learn it because you don't have magic power. I see. Sharapova didn't doubt Qin Haodong's words. The East had always been a very mysterious place. There were magic and martial arts that were completely different from those in the West. She licked her delicate red lips and said, Since you are of no use to me, let's settle the score. I heard that you killed my Prince Philip of the Blood Clan, and killed the great wizard Sisei, with the people of the Divine Court. What do you think I should do with you? As she spoke, her eyes released a fierce murderous intent. As the vampire queen, she had a resilience beyond the imagination of ordinary people. She had just gotten rid of Richcard's holy power in the cardboard box, and healed the injury on her shoulder. Sensing Sharapova's killing intent, Lo immediately tightened his muscles, and was ready to fight after going berserk at any time. Qin Haodong said calmly, Miss Sharapova, if you want to settle the score, you should thank me. If it weren't for me, you would have been purified by the Divine Emperor. Ha, ha ha. Sharapova let out a burst of tender laughter. She laughed so hard that the 2 towering peaks on her chest were trembling incessantly. Ridiculous Huaxia man. You may not know, but we vampires always take revenge and never repay kindness. But for the sake of your handsome looks, I can make you my direct descendant, and let you follow the queen forever. After saying that, her expression changed, revealing 2 sharp canine teeth. Chapter 845. Boy, you should feel honored. There are not many people who can get the embrace from me. Soon, you will become a prince of the blood clan. Sharapova was about to make a move. Qin Haodong did not panic in the face of the vampire queen at all. He said calmly, I can help you defeat the emperor. Well, what did you say? Sharapova's sharp fingers almost pinched Qin Haodong's neck, but she stopped abruptly. It was no wonder that she was so excited. Ever since Richcard had obtained God's blessing, she and the dark world had been firmly suppressed all these years. There were a few times when they were on the brink of death. There was no chance of victory, Qin Haodong said with a smile. I said I can help you defeat the emperor, Sharapova cried. Boy, are you lying to me? Although you have some skills, you are not on the same level as me and Richcard. I can do it when I say I can. Although my strength is not as good as yours, I have other means, such as ensuring that you were not discovered by him just now. Upon hearing this, Sharapova immediately believed him a little, but she still said with a gloomy expression, Boy, don't lie, or you won't even have the chance to be a vampire. I will twist your head off and kick it like a ball. Qin Haodong said, Of course I won't lie, but I have conditions. Sharapova cried, You dare to ask me for conditions? Believe it or not, I will kill you now. I don't believe it. Qin Haodong still looked calm. I can tell you for sure that no one in this world can help you defeat Richcard except me. I can help you escape this time, but I'm afraid you will be purified next time. These words hit the nail on the head of Sharapova. As long as there was a little hope of defeating the emperor, she would never give up. Tell me, what conditions do you want? Qin Haodong said, I want the hat on Richcard's head. Sharapova was slightly surprised. She thought the young man would ask for money and beautiful women. She did not expect him to ask for the hat of the emperor. After a moment of shock, she seemed to think of something and asked, Do you want to take over the position of the emperor? Qin Haodong shook his head and said, You think too much. I have no interest in the emperor god. I just want that hat. I think it's very beautiful. Sharapova stared at Qin Haodong coldly, but in the end, she could not see anything. However, she did not care about the hat. What she cared about was how to defeat Richcard. Tell me, how can you help me defeat the divine emperor? Qin Haodong said, Your strength is not much different from Richcard's. I have a way to improve your strength and suppress the emperor's strength at the same time, so that you can defeat him. Sharapova said excitedly, Are you sure you can do it? Qin Haodong said, At that time, I will stand with you and fight. If I fail, I will also die. Naturally, I won't joke about this kind of thing. All right, I'll believe you this once. Tell me, when do we make our move? Qin Haodong thought for a moment and said, Tomorrow night when the moon rises. He had a plan in mind. If he helped Sharapova defeat the divine emperor tonight, then he would not be able to defend Grand Duke Andrei's mansion. At that time, Cathaway would definitely die in the hands of the vampires, which was not what he wanted to see. Sure enough, Sharapova said with annoyance, Why tomorrow night? Can't we do it today? If I can defeat Richcard tonight, I can kill the Holy Virgin as well. Qin Haodong shook his head and said, You think it's easy to defeat the Emperor God? I need enough time to prepare. Otherwise, what if I fall short of success? Anyway, vampires did not understand formations, so he would not give himself away no matter what he said. No one knew better than Sharapova how terrible the Emperor God was. She did not have any doubts and said, Well, it's a deal. I'll come to you tomorrow night. Qin Haodong said with a smile, Happy cooperation. Sharapova seemed to think of something. Don't think about running away. Otherwise, even if I chase you to Huaxia, I will suck you dry. At the same time, no one around you will be left alive. Qin Haodong shook his head and said with a smile, Don't worry, I won't run away. I haven't got what I want yet. Sharapova glared at him, then turned around and flew away. She had been injured by the Emperor God tonight, and was not as relaxed as she looked. It just so happened that she needed some time to go back and recuperate. After the vampire queen left, Lei Fu said, Master, we finally succeeded in deceiving this woman. Let's get out of here as soon as possible. The Emperor God and the vampire queen are both here. It's too dangerous. When did I deceive her? Qin Haodong said with a playful smile. I really want to get the Emperor God's hat. Lei Fu said anxiously. But the Emperor God is too powerful. It's impossible to defeat him. Qin Haodong said. Don't worry, I have enough confidence. Get ready. After we finish this, we'll go to the Crow Grand Canyon. After that, the two returned to the villa. He glanced at Shiyumi's room. The light was out, and it seemed that she had fallen asleep. The next day, Qin Haodong went to the small valley again in the evening. He threw out the formation flags in his hand one by one, and set up a super-large essence gathering formation. Then he set up a maze, an illusion, and a defense formation. After all this was done, the sun set on the horizon and night slowly fell, covering the entire valley. When the moon had just risen, a golden shadow quickly crossed the sky and appeared in front of Qin Haodong in the blink of an eye, transforming into the appearance of Sharapova. After seeing Qin Haodong, she asked, Boy, how are your preparations going? I'm ready. Now you just need to lead Richcard here, and then I can help you defeat him. Qin Haodong said confidently. I hope you're not lying to me, or you'll die miserably. After Sharapova finished speaking, she let out a sharp whistle. This was an order for the entire Dark Council to launch an all-out attack. After the scream, countless dark creatures emerged from the night. The Vampire Prince, the Golden Fur Wolf King, and the Dark Wizard gathered together and surged toward Grand Duke Andrea's mansion like a tide in the night. In the Grand Duke's mansion, when the sun set, Cathaway's whole body turned transparent, like a doll carved from jade. The Holy Maiden's awakening was officially completed. Next, she only needed to wait for the approval of the angel's heart. After the news came out, there was a burst of cheers in the Grand Duke's mansion. All the clergymen breathed a sigh of relief. In their opinion, the Holy Maiden's awakening had been completed, and the Dark Clan would definitely not come to harass them again. Richcard thought the same. Originally, he wanted to order everyone to celebrate, but before he could say anything, he heard Sharapova's whistle. Then countless bats appeared in the night sky, and the howls of wolves rang in his ears. Damn it, is she crazy? Richcard did not expect the Dark Clan to launch an attack at this time, and could not help but swear. The others were also surprised. They did not know the meaning of the Dark Council's attack at this time. Alex said to Richcard, Your Majesty, I always feel that things are a little strange. Logically speaking, the Holy Maiden has completed her awakening, so the Dark Council should not launch an attack anymore. However, their current offensive is more fierce than before. Is there any conspiracy? Balderrama said. Who cares about that? Anyway, with Your Majesty in charge, they can't set off any waves. He originally wanted to flatter Richcard, but Richcard said with a gloomy face, I also think something is wrong. How about this? You lead a team to escort the Holy Maiden back to Holy City immediately. I'll go and keep Sharapova busy. In his opinion, as long as he kept the Vampire Queen occupied, the other dark creatures would not be a match for the people of the Holy Court. Yes, Your Majesty. Alex agreed and immediately organized the people of the Holy Court to escort Cathaway out of the Grand Duke's mansion and rush in the direction of Holy City. Richcard rose into the air with the staff in his hand and went to meet the Vampire Queen, Sharapova. After seeing the Divine Emperor, Sharapova shouted, Richcard, you hurt me yesterday. Today, I will suck you dry. Richcard said, You escaped yesterday. I don't know if you will have such good luck today. Sharapova let out a shrill cry. She spread open her claws and pounced on the Emperor God. Her speed was so fast that she looked like a shadow that was gliding past. Do you want to die? The Divine Emperor flicked his finger, and a beam of holy light shot out. Compared to Alice and the others, this beam of holy light was 10 times thicker, and its power was even more astonishing. Sharapova had fought with Richcard for so many years, and already had a wealth of combat experience. When the holy light approached her body, she suddenly turned sideways, slid past the holy light, and pounced on Richcard again. Richcard snorted coldly, and waved the god's favor in his hand. He quickly drew a huge light curtain in front of him, and shone it toward Sharapova. The god's favor was a divine weapon of the Holy Court. Once it was used, its power was incomparable. It was not something a vampire's body could resist. Sharapova twisted her body in midair and fled back at top speed. Richcard felt that today's events were a little strange. He did not chase after her from behind. Instead, he covered the Holy Court's team as they moved in the direction of Holy City. Sharapova saw that the Divine Emperor was not fooled. If she could not lead him to the small valley, she would not be able to succeed, so she turned around and attacked. After repeating this several times in a row, Richcard was completely enraged. Sharapova, it seems that you are determined to let me kill you today. This time he did not stop. Instead, he chased after Sharapova. Both of them were experts at the late stage of the Saint Realm. Their speed was amazing, and they arrived at the small valley in just a few minutes. Seeing Qin Haodong standing in the valley, Richcard was slightly stunned. Then he said, "Young man, you still defected to the Covenant of Darkness. I'm really disappointed." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "I won't defect it to anyone. This is just a temporary cooperation with them." Richcard held the god's favor in his hand and proudly said, "I know that you must have laid a trap to lure me here by all means. But in the face of absolute strength, any conspiracy or trick is useless. I advise you to surrender early and become God's servants." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Your Majesty, people who are too confident are arrogant. Today, I will show you the magic of our East." After saying that, he gently cast a spell, and the lunar essence gathering array was officially activated. This was a huge array. When the array was activated, the moon in the sky suddenly brightened, and a silver-white light curtain quickly shrouded the entire small valley. Chapter 846. Richcard frowned. As the Divine Emperor, he naturally did not like the rich lunar qi. Sharapova was indeed surprised and overjoyed. The dense lunar qi made every pore in her body feel extremely comfortable. Both her defense and battle prowess had increased exponentially. She even imagined that if she could cultivate in such an environment every day, she would have long become an existence surpassing the Divine Emperor and unifying the entire Western world. Yesterday, when Qin Haodong said that he could help her defeat the Divine Emperor, she was still skeptical. Now, she was completely convinced. In such an environment, she was completely confident that she could defeat Richcard. She knew that the opportunity was rare and fleeting. She let out a soul-shaking scream and flew into the air. Richcard naturally would not sit still. He raised his hand and shot out a beam of holy light as usual. However, he was surprised to find that this beam of holy light was much weaker than before. It was not even comparable to the High Priest in red. Only then did he realize that the rich lunar qi here not only nourished Sharapova, but also suppressed his holy power. Sharapova's sharp claws collided with this beam of holy light and instantly shattered it. Although it also left a little charred mark on her palm, it was instantly recovered by the rich lunar qi. Fighting in this kind of environment, her recovery ability was too strong. Seeing that Sharapova's sharp claws were getting closer and closer to him, Richcard's eyes flashed with panic. He raised God's favor in his hand. Finally, God's favor once again emitted a rich holy light curtain, repelling Sharapova. However, Richcard did not dare to relax, because he found that the damage caused by the holy light to Sharapova in such an environment was very small. She quickly recovered. At the same time, God's favor was an artifact that absorbed and transformed holy power. The holy light curtain it emitted now was almost 1/3 of the holy power stored inside. In the past, it would have been replenished almost instantly after it was consumed. However, in such an environment, the replenishment of holy power was extremely weak and could not make up for the loss from the previous blow. Under such circumstances, he was at a complete disadvantage. Richcard was shocked. He did not know how this Huaxia person had done it, but he knew that he had to leave this place as soon as possible. Otherwise, he would definitely suffer a great loss. However, before he could take a step, Sharapova fiercely pounced on him again. Damn it! Richcard had no choice but to raise God's blessing again and use the holy power inside. However, it was clear that the effect this time was far inferior to the previous time. Although the light barrier formed by the holy light blocked Sharapova outside, it was unable to repel her. The two of them were in a stalemate. However, this stalemate would only last for a short period of time, because the holy light was being consumed less and less, and Sharapova's battle prowess was becoming stronger and stronger under the nourishment of the power of Yin. Qin Haodong had been standing outside and watching quietly. He was very satisfied with the result he had caused. Seeing that the Divine Emperor had no time to deal with Sharapova, he raised his hand and shot out the Xianyuan sword. If he made a killing move at this time, even if Richcard did not die, he would inevitably be seriously injured. However, this was not what he wanted. What he wanted was the top-grade spirit stone on the divine crown. Feeling the murderous aura of the Xianyuan sword, Richcard was scared out of his wits. But then he was surprised to find that the sword only passed through his head and took away the crown of God without causing him any harm. Even so, while he was distracted, the light barrier was instantly pierced by Sharapova, and her claws clawed at his heart. In his battles with Sharapova over the years, Richcard had always firmly held the upper hand and had never been in such a sorry state. He hurriedly leaned to the side and tried his best to avoid the claw, but it was too late. The vampire queen's sharp claws tore a piece of flesh from his shoulder. Just you wait. The divine master will punish you sooner or later. After being injured, Richcard let out a roar, and then urged the remaining holy light in God's blessed. After a burst of light, he instantly disappeared from the lunar essence gathering formation. Ha! 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 Sharapova held Richcard's piece of flesh in her hand and looked extremely excited. Richcard, I finally defeated you. After saying that, her figure also disappeared from the lunar essence gathering formation. She was not satisfied with this kind of victory. Killing Richcard was her ultimate goal. Qin Haodong no longer cared about this. His goal was not to kill the Divine Emperor. Otherwise, Richcard would not even have a chance to escape. He raised his hand to stop the lunar essence gathering formation and played with the divine crown in his hand. Feeling the rich spiritual power emitted by the supreme grade spirit stone, the nascent soul in his body began to stir. However, he knew that now was not the time to cultivate. Once Richcard escaped from the lunar essence gathering formation, Sharapova would not be able to deal with him. At least, it would be more than enough for him to escape. Sure enough, it did not take long for Sharapova to fly back. She circled around outside, but could not find Richcard's shadow. Boy, how did you do it just now? Tell me, how did you make the moonlight so rich? As she spoke, her eyes flashed with a greedy light. As long as she mastered this method, she would be able to cultivate in the Tai Yin essence gathering formation every day. Even if the Divine Emperor escaped, it would still be a matter of time before they conquered the holy city. Of course, Qin Haodong did not want to break the balance of the Western world. As a human, he did not want the dark creatures to rule the world. He said, this is our Eastern magic called the lunar essence gathering formation. Only I can use this formation. It's useless even if I tell you. Sharapova certainly did not want to let go of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She said, then you stay and cooperate with me. When I completely control the Western world, I will make you the Divine Emperor of the Divine Court. At that time, you will have endless money and beautiful women. You can have whatever you want. Qin Haodong shook his head and said, the cooperation between us is over. I am just a doctor. I don't want to get involved in the disputes of the Western world. Boy, you really don't know what's good for you. It seems that I have to make you my descendant. As she spoke, Sharapova's eyes flashed. At this moment, Qin Haodong was more precious than the most precious treasure in her eyes. As long as she controlled this person, it was equivalent to having the lunar essence gathering formation. Her cultivation speed would be rapid. Qin Haodong did not panic at all. He said calmly, although I don't want to interfere in the fights of the Western world, you'd better not become my enemy. Otherwise, the consequences will be very miserable. Huaxia boy, you're so arrogant. Just wait to become the glorious descendant of my blood clan. Sharapova showed her two sharp canine teeth and pounced on Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong had already figured out the temper of this vampire queen. She was a capricious person, so he had long been prepared. With a thought, the dragon trapping formation that had been set before was instantly activated. Sharapova was about to give Qin Haodong the embrace, but she suddenly found herself in the fog. She was surrounded by white fog, so thick that she could hardly see her fingers. But Qin Haodong was nowhere to be seen. Huaxia man, do you think this kind of trick will work on me? When I get out, I can also break your neck. Sharapova was very confident. She knew that this was Qin Haodong's Eastern magic, but as long as she flew out, the magic would completely lose its effect. After saying that, she turned into a golden bat, spread her wings and flew out. But after flying for a full 5 minutes, she was still in the fog. She could not see any light at all, nor did she leave the range of the formation. What was going on? Sharapova was a little flustered. According to her speed, 5 minutes was enough to fly dozens of kilometers. Why was she still not out of the formation? She sped up and flew forward, but the result was the same. She was still surrounded by thick fog. Qin Haodong stood outside the formation and looked at the vampire queen, who was struggling desperately inside. He couldn't help but sneer. If the dragon trapping formation could be broken so easily, it would not be called dragon trapping formation. Once the formation was activated, it reversed the 5 elements in the sky. Sharapova felt that she was flying in one direction, but in fact, she was constantly circling in the formation. Naturally, it was impossible for her to fly out. Sharapova had lived for thousands of years, and naturally had rich combat experience. When she found that something was wrong, she immediately stopped. Since she could not fly out, she could only break it by force. She used all her strength, raised her 2 invincible palms, and grabbed at the void around her. As a vampire queen, her strength was comparable to that of a late-stage saint. When she exerted all her strength, she immediately set off a huge vortex in the formation, blowing away the fog. But soon she found that it was useless. As soon as the fog went up, it was immediately filled up again, and soon it returned to the previous situation where she could not see her fingers. Seeing that she could not break through here after trying several methods, Sharapova cried, "Qin Haodong, I know you are nearby. Let me go now, and we'll write it off. Otherwise, when I get out, I'll definitely twist your head off." Qin Haodong said lightly, "You vampires really have no credibility. If I let you go, I'll be the unlucky one. Stay here, I'm leaving." After saying that, he really turned around and left, speeding in the direction of the villa. With his current cultivation, he could trap a master like Sharapova, but he could not kill her completely. His top priority was to seize the time to improve his cultivation, and he was very clear that after losing control of the dragon trapping formation, it would not take long for Sharapova to break it. He had to make use of this time to go as far as possible. When he returned to the villa, Lo was already ready in an off-road jeep. When Qin Haodong sat in the passenger seat, he immediately started the car and drove in the direction of the Raven Grand Canyon. For tonight, Qin Haodong had already made sufficient preparations. He asked Shiyumi to return to Huaxia by plane, and then left with Lo. 3 or 4 hours after they left, the Dark Clan, who had failed to attack the Divine Court, retreated and found Sharapova's location. The dragon trapping formation could trap people, but it could not trap sound. Sharapova gave an order to her subordinates outside, and they cooperated to attack the dragon trapping formation. Without control, the dragon trapping formation's power was greatly reduced. Half an hour later, with a loud bang, it was finally broken. After Sharapova broke free, she roared angrily, "Qin Haodong, I'll kill you." After saying that, she rushed to the villa area where Qin Haodong was with all her subordinates of the Dark Council. But it was already empty. Not even a mouse was left. Cunning Huaxia people. The angry Sharapova and her people razed the entire villa to the ground, but the anger in her heart was still not vented. Wolf, the werewolf patriarch next to her, asked, "Mr. President, can you tell us what happened?" Sharapova calmed down and told them about how she had cooperated with Qin Haodong to defeat Richcard. Chapter 847. Oh my God, Honorable Speaker, you defeated Richcard. That's so great. Honorable Speaker, you are the glory of our dark world. Honorable Speaker, you are so great. You are my idol. Hearing that Sharapova had defeated Richcard, the dark creatures present were excited and cheered. For many years, they had been overwhelmed by the divine court. This was the first time they had won. Wolf King Loft said excitedly, Honorable Speaker, should we go straight to the holy city and wipe it out while the divine emperor is injured? Korkina glanced at him and said, You brainless guy, have you forgotten the divine healing technique of the divine court? As long as the divine emperor is not killed in one go, he will soon recover from his injury. Going now will only be courting death. As the speaker of the dark world, Sharapova naturally understood this. She said to the people around her, What we have to do now is not to go to the holy city, but to return to where we belong as soon as possible. Get ready quickly. I believe the divine court will soon retaliate against us. After that, she left the empire of the unsetting sun with many dark creatures and rushed back to their lair. Qin Haodong and Lof arrived at the Crow Grand Canyon, found a suitable place to hide the car, and then walked in on foot. Caw, caw, the caws of crows could be heard. Then, countless crows flew over their heads like a black cloud. They covered the sky and covered the sun. Qin Haodong followed the instructions on the map in his hand and quickly came to the east side of the canyon. Lof glanced at the map and said, Master, is there something wrong with this map? It's empty here. What can there be? Qin Haodong looked excited. He had already faintly felt the fluctuations of the formation here. It was obvious that a concealing formation had been set up at the location marked on the map, which had changed the scenery. He could also feel that the formation had been set up for many years and was showing signs of weakening. It seemed that this was an ancient relic. Since there was a formation, it meant that this was an ancient relic left by Eastern cultivators. At the same time, he had a little doubt. This was clearly the Western world. Why would there be Eastern cultivators leaving relics here? However, no one could give him an answer to this question. He could only search for it himself. At this time, Qin Haodong was not in a hurry to take action. He had entered countless ancient relics when he was in the cultivation world, and many of them were hidden with unknown dangers. He believed that this place was no exception. His top priority was to improve his cultivation. First, he brought Lo away from this place. They found a dry and secluded cave in a nearby mountain range. After sealing the cave entrance, he began to advance his cultivation. After setting up several formation restrictions, Qin Haodong sat cross-legged in the cave. Lei Fu guarded the entrance of the cave. Qin Haodong took out the divine crown, removed the spirit stone from it, and held it in his palm. As expected of a top-grade spirit stone, the spiritual energy it emitted was extremely rich, making every pore feel incomparably comfortable. He closed his eyes and slowly ran the greenwood genuine qi. The spiritual qi in the cave immediately rushed into his body, like rivers flowing into the sea. After the spiritual qi entered his body, it was immediately transformed into pure genuine qi, which was absorbed by the nascent soul. As time went by, the nascent soul grew bit by bit. After an unknown period of time, Qin Haodong woke up from his meditation and found that the spirit stone in his palm had turned into a mass of powder. He quickly looked at the nascent soul in his sea of consciousness. He saw that the nascent soul, which was originally only about 20 centimeters, had become extremely huge, about 1 meter long. Its facial features were clear, and it was much more agile than before. It had reached the peak of the nascent soul middle stage, and was only one step away from the late stage of nascent soul. As long as the nascent soul grew to the same size as the body, it would reach the peak of nascent soul. Master, you're awake. Seeing Qin Haodong stand up, Lei Fu immediately came over. Qin Haodong nodded and said, Let's go and have a look there. The two of them went to the front of the relic again. The concealing formation here was not too difficult for them. Soon, the formation was broken, and a huge cave appeared in front of them. The input method of the East is really amazing. Lo's mouth gaped open in shock. There had clearly been nothing here just a moment ago. Yet such a large cave had suddenly appeared. Qin Haodong stepped toward the entrance of the cave. The cave was about 10 meters high and 5 meters wide, and looked extremely huge. The entrance was blocked by a huge rock, and there was a faint fluctuation of a formation. It seemed that if one could not find the way to enter the cave, no matter how high his cultivation was, he would not be able to force his way in. He had countless experience in entering the relic, so he began to search around the cave. Next to the cave entrance, he saw a man-made groove with a huge ancient Huaxia character on it. It was blood. The blood groove. Qin Haodong immediately understood that the door of the cave could only be opened with blood. He wondered if his blood could open the relic here. He cut his index finger with the Xian Yuan sword and dripped 3 drops of blood into the blood groove. Something strange happened. The drops of blood did not stay in the stone groove and were instantly absorbed like a sponge in water. Then there was a wave of energy, and the huge rock that sealed the cave slowly slid to the side, revealing a gap about the size of 2 people. It worked. Qin Haodong was overjoyed. It seemed that his blood had worked, and he could successfully unlock the formation seal here. "Master, the cave is open," Lei Fu said as he excitedly walked into the cave. But as soon as he reached the entrance, he was bounced back by an invisible force. The force was so strong that even the Golden Fur Wolf King could not resist it, and it actually forced him back more than 10 meters. Fortunately, the formation was only set up to block and not to kill. Otherwise, Lei Fu would have lost half his life, even if he did not die. Lei Fu got up from the ground and patted the dust off his butt. "Master, you must be careful," he said. "This place is too strange." Qin Haodong came to the entrance of the cave, and the spiritual qi in his body revolved as he carefully walked forward. But nothing unusual happened until he entered the cave. "What's going on?" Seeing that Qin Haodong had entered without a hitch, Lei Fu followed. But as soon as he reached the entrance, he was once again bounced back by the invisible force. "Master, this place is so strange. Why won't you let me in?" Qin Haodong thought for a moment, and immediately understood. "It seems that this is a formation set up by our ancestors in Huaxia. Only people of Huaxia can enter. You are a werewolf from the west, so naturally you are excluded." "Well," Lo looked gloomy. "Go back first. Go to the cave we rested in yesterday. I'll come find you when I come out." Qin Haodong walked into the cave, and as he passed through the door, the rock moved slowly and sealed the cave again. The light in the cave was not too dim, and the walls were inlaid with glowing stones. He walked over to take a look and found that these stones were not night-luminescent pearls, but some unknown ore. He walked slowly into the cave, and after walking for about 10 meters, he suddenly heard a strange cry. "Croak, croak." The sound sounded like the croak of a frog, but it was even louder than the roar of a cow. It was accompanied by echoes in the cave, and it was quite deafening. At the same time, Qin Haodong felt a great sense of danger. He quickly stopped. Every treasure must be guarded by a spirit beast, and it seemed that this place was no exception. As he glanced around, a black behemoth suddenly appeared in front of him. This thing was about the size of a small off-road vehicle. The skin on its body was full of bumps of various sizes. Its 2 huge front paws rested in front of its body, and its 2 eyes shone like headlights. Its mouth was open, and a tongue that was several meters long kept flicking in and out. Is this a toad?" Qin Haodong was quite surprised. Even in the cultivation world, he had never seen such a huge toad. And this toad was quite strange. It had 2 legs in front, and only 1 on the back. It turned out to be a 3-legged golden toad. When the 3-legged golden toad saw Qin Haodong, its eyes flashed as if it had seen a delicious meal. "Croak!" With a muffled roar, the 3-legged golden toad fiercely rushed towards Qin Haodong. Its speed was amazing, and it was not inferior to that of a martial saint. Qin Haodong quickly moved his feet to the side, but he didn't expect that the 3-legged golden toad was so agile. Although its body rushed over, its tongue several meters long swept across the air. "Damn it, did it think of me as a fly?" Qin Haodong leaped over the tongue and jumped onto the back of Money Toad. Then he punched it hard. After entering the middle nascent soul stage, his punch was enough to split a mountain, and even a real off-road vehicle would be smashed into a discus. However, such a powerful punch did not have any effect on the back of the three-legged golden toad. This guy's defense was even more amazing than that of the Blood Clan. Moreover, this three-legged golden toad was very intelligent, as if it knew that Qin Haodong was on its back. It jumped into the air and slammed into the top of the cave. Qin Haodong quickly jumped off the back of the golden cicada, but before his feet landed, the three-legged golden toad's python-like tongue swept over again. Damn it! Qin Haodong punched the golden toad's tongue and retreated with the force of the recoil. Originally, after reaching the middle nascent soul stage, he wanted to use the golden cicada to test his strength, so he didn't rush to take out the Xian Yuan sword. But this fight lasted for half an hour, and he didn't get the upper hand at all. It should be known that Qin Haodong practiced the cultivation method. Once he entered the middle nascent soul stage, he would be invincible in the same level. But with this cultivation, he couldn't take down a three-legged golden toad. It could be seen how powerful this thing was. And it was not inferior to any master in the Middle Saint realm. After fighting for a few more rounds, Qin Haodong gradually lost his patience. It seemed that without using the Xian Yuan sword, he couldn't break through the defense of the three-legged golden toad. Big guy, I didn't want to kill you, but you forced me to do this. Qin Haodong was very clear that a kind of spirit beast to cultivate to this level would probably take thousands of years, or even longer. But this guy was in front of him, and if he didn't kill it, he couldn't enter the ruins. As he spoke, he stretched out his right hand, and the golden Xian Yuan sword appeared in his palm. Quack! The three-legged golden toad was fighting excitedly. It was about to attack Qin Haodong again, but when it saw the Xian Yuan sword in his hand, its eyes immediately flashed with respect. Then it retracted its huge tongue and lay on the ground with a look of submission. Qin Haodong was quite surprised. Did this beast know the power of the Xian Yuan sword and was afraid of him? Just as he was puzzled, a light flashed in front of him, and a shadow appeared in the cave. It was the Yellow Emperor. Chapter 848. When Qin Haodong subdued the Xian Yuan sword, he had seen the divine thought left by Emperor Huang Xianyuan, so he was no stranger to the shadow in front of him. At the same time he was confused. Was this ancient site left by Emperor Huang Xianyuan? He was the originator of Huaxia. Why did he set the site in the west? The shadow in front of him was just the divine thought left by Emperor Huang Xianyuan many years ago. Naturally, it didn't know Qin Haodong. Young man, congratulations on subduing the three-legged golden toad. This divine thought was much more solid than the one in the Xian Yuan sword. Qin Haodong asked, Senior Xian Yuan, did you leave this three-legged golden toad? Emperor Huang Xianyuan said, That's right. When I traveled around, I found a spiritual beast bag in an ancient site. This three-legged golden toad was hatched from the spiritual beast bag. It has always been by my side. I left the site here. If one's cultivation is not high enough, it will definitely be a disaster for him. The three-legged golden toad is an ancient spiritual creature, comparable to the experts at the early stage of the Saint realm. I left it here as a barrier. Only by defeating the three-legged golden toad will you be qualified to move forward. If you can't, you can only retreat. Qin Haodong sighed secretly. It seemed that Emperor Huang Xianyuan didn't expect that someone would find this place after 5,000 years. The three-legged golden toad had grown from the early stage of the Saint realm to the peak of the middle stage of the Saint realm. How could ordinary people enter? He asked again. Senior Xianyuan, may I ask why you left your site in the west? Emperor Huang Xianyuan said, Since you have conquered the three-legged golden toad, go on. When you get what I left behind, you will know all the secrets. After that, the shadow flashed and the divine thought disappeared. It seemed that this was not the final test. Qin Haodong continued to walk into the cave. After walking for another 20 or 30 meters, he turned a corner and found a stone house in front of him. The door of the stone house was closed. He came to the door and found that there was a very strong restriction in the stone house, which was much stronger than the one in front of the cave. There were a few simple ancient Huaxia characters engraved on the wall next to the stone house. Only members of the Xianyuan family can enter. Below the words, there was a palm print the size of a human hand, which contained a faint fluctuation of spiritual power. It seemed that this was also a test for those who came. The Xianyuan clan. It seemed like Emperor Huang Xianyuan wanted to use his inner force as a test. After figuring this out, Qin Haodong reached out and pressed his hand on the palm print. He slowly ran the Xianyuan heart skill and transferred his genuine qi to it. After the Zhen qi entered the palm print, there was a flash of light, and then the stone door issued a ka-ka sound and slowly opened to both sides. Qin Haodong breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that the Xianyuan heart skill was really the key to enter this stone room. From the moment he entered until now, Emperor Huang Xianyuan had set up 4 thresholds in succession. It seemed like he was extremely careful and did not know what exactly was left here. He walked into the stone house and looked around. The house was about 20 square meters in size. There were no decorations, and it was very simple. It seemed to have been dug out temporarily. In the middle of the stone house, there was a stone table. On the stone table, there were 2 wooden boxes, one big and one small. It was unknown what was inside. Just as Qin Haodong was about to walk over, a shadow flashed in the room, and the divine mind of Emperor Huang Xianyuan appeared again. "Welcome, my child." Junior Qin Haodong greets Senior Xianyuan. Qin Haodong bowed to the divine mind of Emperor Huang Xianyuan. Emperor Huang Xianyuan said, "Since you have passed the test I set, you are my descendant. In the future, you must do your duty to protect Huaxia and completely drive the alien demons out of our space." Qin Haodong asked, "Senior Xianyuan, why did you set the cave residence here? Does it have something to do with the alien demons?" "Yes, it does have something to do with the alien demons. Let me tell you slowly. Although Emperor Huang Xianyuan was only a shadow, he still sat down cross-legged and said to Qin Haodong, "The alien demons invaded and tried to slaughter all the humans here. They robbed our great rivers and mountains, and caused the people of Huaxia to be in misery and suffering. With the cooperation of several major tribes in Huaxia, the alien demons who invaded our land were finally annihilated. But we found that only a part of the alien demons came to Huaxia, and there was a growing trend. So I came to the west to find the nest of the alien demons, and the space loophole they invaded. It's definitely not a solution to resist these foreign races. In the end, we had to find a way to seal the space loophole again. When I came to the west, I found that this place was also invaded by the alien demons, and the situation was much more serious than in Huaxia. Moreover, most of the masters of the alien demons gathered here, so it is likely that the space loophole is in the west. When I came here on the sword, I happened to see the battle between the masters of the alien demons, the Western Divine Court, and the Dark World. The battle was extremely fierce. The Divine Emperor of the Divine Court, Cain, the leader of the Blood Clan in the Dark World, and Bierhoff, the leader of the Wolf Clan, all died together with the devil generals of the alien demons. Although we belonged to the East and the West, we were all humans after all. I immediately joined the battle and killed the last devil general, becoming the only survivor on the battlefield. The Divine Emperor left the crown of thorns to me before he died. The Blood Emperor Cain and the Wolf Emperor Bierhoff each left a drop of primordial blood and begged me to bring it to their descendants. I left these 3 things, but I also saw the power of the alien demons. In such a fierce battle, anyone could lose their life. So I made a divination for myself, and the divination showed that I would not only face a bloody disaster, but also lose my life. I don't care about life and death, but there are some unfinished things that I want to leave to my descendants. So I opened a cave residence here, hoping that one day the descendants of the Xianyuan clan will find this place. Because of the alien demons' rampage, I was afraid that the things I left behind would be taken away by them. So I set up a few tests in the cave residence. Only the descendants of the Xianyuan clan can see my last words. Qin Haodong finally understood why the blood test and the Xianyuan heart skill were first tested when he entered the cave. It turned out that everything was done to guard against the alien demons. The Yellow Emperor Xianyuan continued, "The alien demons are a kind of creatures from a different space. They are cruel and murderous, and their strength is tyrannical. The most important thing is that they are good at changing. The high-level alien demons can change into the appearance of humans at will, so we can't find them. In order to let future generations be able to identify the alien demons, I left a finger of the devil general. No matter what they change into, the aura of the alien demons will not change. With this finger, we can identify the alien demons hiding among the humans in the future. Speaking of this, he pointed to the small wooden box on the stone table and said to Qin Haodong, "Open it. The finger of the devil general is in the wooden box." Qin Haodong walked over and opened the lid of the stone box. There was a hairy finger inside, much thicker than a human's finger. What shocked him was that the aura emitted by the demon general's finger gave him a familiar feeling. Why was this so? Had he encountered the alien demons before? The Yellow Emperor Xianyuan said, "We are about to fight the alien demons to the death. According to my guess, we may be able to annihilate their main force, but there must be some survivors in this world. Keep this finger and find the survivors of the alien demons according to its aura. We must completely destroy them." Qin Haodong asked, "Senior Xianyuan, do you think it will be wrong to find the alien demons according to the aura of the finger?" The Yellow Emperor Xianyuan shook his head and said, "So far, I have seen tens of thousands of alien demons, and their auras are the same. Just like fish, no matter what kind of fish they are, they all have a fishy smell. The same is true for the alien demons. No matter their level, they all have the unique aura of the alien demons. The difference is that the high-level alien demons are good at transformation and can blend in with us." Hearing this, Qin Haodong frowned. In this case, there must be an alien demon among the humans. He had met him before, but he could not remember who he was. The Yellow Emperor Xianyuan continued, "Since you can come here, it means that I have died in the battlefield of the alien demons. I need you to handle the rest. I promised the Emperor God, the Blood Race and the Wolf Race that I would return their relics to their people. This promise has not been fulfilled yet. Now those things are in the wooden box. If there is a chance, help me fulfill my promise. Don't worry, Senior. I will do it for you." Since he could not figure it out, Qin Haodong stopped thinking about it. He put the finger into the storage ring and opened the bigger wooden box. When he opened the lid, he was shocked. The first thing he saw were 3 shining spirit stones of the highest quality. Just now, one spirit stone of the highest quality had raised his cultivation to the middle stage of the nascent soul realm. Now there were 3 of them, which was enough for him to cultivate to the late stage of the nascent soul realm. He held the 3 spirit stones in his palm and was overjoyed. The Yellow Emperor Xianyuan said, "These 3 gems are the same as the spirit beast bag. They were all obtained from the ancient ruins, but I have never figured out what they are used for. If you like them, just take them." "Thank you, Senior." After thanking him, Qin Haodong looked at the other items in the wooden box. Next to the spirit stones was a palm-sized bag, which exuded a strong wave of spiritual qi. It was obviously a treasure at the level of a divine weapon. He took the bag in his hand. He could not tell what material it was made of. On one side, there was a monster with its mouth open, and on the other side, there were 3 big words, "Spirit Beast Bag." The Yellow Emperor Xianyuan said, "I also got this thing in the ancient tomb. It is a rare treasure. You can make the spirit beast bag recognize you as its master by dripping a drop of blood into the monster's mouth." Qin Haodong cut his index finger and dripped a drop of blood into the mouth of the monster in the spirit beast bag. After the blood dripped on the spirit beast bag, it disappeared instantly. Then, with a flash of light, the spirit beast bag disappeared, and then a monster tattoo appeared on his chest. After the treasure recognized him as its master, Qin Haodong established a connection with the spirit beast bag. At the same time, something suddenly appeared in his mind. It was a technique to control spirit beasts. He then explored the spirit beast bag with his spirit and found that it was an independent space. The principle was similar to that of the storage ring. It was the key to another space. The difference was that the storage ring could not store living things, while the space provided by the spirit beast bag could allow spirit beasts to live well. After knowing the magical use of this thing, Qin Haodong turned his head and used a spell on the three-legged golden toad, who had been lying at the door. Under his control, the three-legged golden toad became the size of an egg. After jumping twice in his palm, it went into the spirit beast bag. Good stuff, this is definitely good stuff. Qin Haodong was overjoyed. He got 3 top-grade spirit stones, and now he got a treasure like the spirit beast bag. It was definitely a worthwhile trip. After putting away the treasure, he looked into the wooden box again. Chapter 849. There was a hat in the middle of the box, which looked very similar to the divine crown on the head of the divine emperor. There was also a gem on the top of the head, but this gem was different from the top-grade crystal stone. It contained extremely strong light saint power. Emperor Huang Xinyuan said, "This is the divine crown left by the divine emperor at that time. It's a sacred object of the divine court." Qin Haodong understood that the divine crown must have been lost in the war back then. Later, the divine court copied its shape and made another one. However, the god's crown he had snatched was just a decoration. This was the real god's crown. He looked to the side and saw 2 transparent jade bottles next to the divine crown. There was a red bead in the first jade bottle, and a cyan bead in the second jade bottle. Although the bottles were not opened, he could still feel the powerful energy contained in the 2 beads. Emperor Huang Xinyuan said, "The red one is the blood essence of Cain, the first ancestor of the blood race, and the cyan one is the blood essence of Wolf King Bierhoff. If there's a chance, you can send them back to their people. Don't worry, Senior. I'll definitely help you fulfill your last wish. Go. Remember, as the descendant of the Xinyuan family, you must always protect our Huaxia clan." Emperor Huang Xinyuan was very satisfied with Qin Haodong's attitude. He nodded and then disappeared into the air. Qin Haodong was not in a hurry to leave. The most important thing for him now was strength. Since he already had the top-grade spirit stones, the most important thing for him was to improve his cultivation. He sat cross-legged in the middle of the stone room and held all 3 top-grade crystals in his palm. According to his past experience, the later he cultivated, the greater the need for spiritual qi. He hoped that these 3 spirit stones could help him cultivate to the late stage of the nascent soul realm. As time went by, about half a day later, the 3 spirit stones in his hand made a crisp sound and turned into 3 balls of powder at the same time. At the same time, a white light rose from the top of his head and finally turned into an energy body that was the same as Qin Haodong's original body. It was his nascent soul. At this time, the nascent soul was exactly the same size as his original body. It had completely entered the late stage of the nascent soul realm. Qin Haodong moved his mind and took the nascent soul back into his body. He slowly opened his eyes, and a flash of joy flashed across his face. When he reached the late stage of the nascent soul realm, he did not care about the vampire queen, the blood emperor, or the divine emperor. However, he was used to disguise himself as a pig to eat a tiger. He did not show the improvement of his cultivation. Qin Haodong came to the entrance of the cave, and the stone door slowly opened. It was midnight, and a bright moon hung in the sky. As soon as he walked out of the cave, he felt that the atmosphere was not right. He looked up and saw a group of people standing on both sides. On the left was the divine emperor Ridjoff, the divine emperor, and stood the emperor to be to the emperor. Beside him stood the graceful Cathaway. At this time, Cathaway was completely different from when she had awakened. After obtaining the recognition of the angel's heart, her body had returned to its previous appearance, but her entire body was filled with a holy aura of emperor, emperor of Huang emperor, emperor to god of the family of the was A to the emperor, emperor, king of emperor, Huang, king was a king god, divine king he. Beside him stood the graceful Cathaway. At this time, Cathaway was completely different from when she was awakened. After being recognized by the angel's heart, her body had returned to its original appearance, but she was full of a sacred aura. Behind them stood a team of about 100 people. In the middle of the team, Lei Fu was tied up tightly and had a towel stuffed in his mouth. Chen Fugui and Zhang Feiyang, who were relatively close to Qin Haodong, were at the back of the team. Even Alice could not get close to Lei Fu. Obviously, all this was deliberately arranged. On the right side of the cave stood the people of the Dark Parliament led by Sharapova. They also had a hostage in their hands. It was Shiyumi, Wolf King of the Dark World, and another dark wizard, Garincha, were keeping Shiyumi in custody. Korkina and her daughter, who were close to Qin Haodong, were excluded. After seeing Qin Haodong's ability, Sharapova was obviously very afraid of him. Her sharp claws tightly gripped Shiyumi's neck, not giving him a chance to rescue her. The two of them stood face to face, but there was no conflict. Obviously, they were waiting for Qin Haodong to come out. After glancing at the crowd, Qin Haodong said with a smile, "Everyone, are you welcoming me? There's no need to make it so grand, is there?" Emperor Richcard was the first to speak. "Qin Haodong, as a member of the human clan, how dare you collude with the dark creatures? If you hand over the treasures you got here, I can consider sparing your life. If you want to rob, just say it. Why do you have to find such a lame excuse?" Qin Haodong pointed to Sharapova and the others, who were staring at him covetously. "Look at them. Do you think I'm with them?" Richcard's expression froze, and then he said, "It's useless to deny it. Don't think that I didn't recognize that this man is the Golden Fur Wolf King. You have a close relationship with him, which means you are colluding with the Dark Clan. You must be punished by the Divine Lord." Qin Haodong asked, "If you want my treasures, we can negotiate. But first, answer me a question. How did you find this place?" He had come here in secret, and only he and Lei Fu knew. Because of the master-servant contract, Lei Fu would certainly not betray him. So he was curious about how the Divine Court and the Dark Council found this place together. Richcard said, "Since you want to know, I will tell you. This is the place where our first emperor disappeared. It has been secretly monitored by the Divine Court. You will naturally be seen by our people when you come here." Hearing this, Qin Haodong suddenly understood. It seemed that the Divine Court had not given up on the missing divine crown, so they had sent people to monitor this place. He turned to look at Sharapova again. "How did you find this place?" Sharapova said, "I knew something was wrong with you a long time ago, so I left a mark on the people around you. Even if you run to the ends of the earth, I can still find you." Qin Haodong shook his head secretly. It seemed that he had underestimated this guy, who had lived for thousands of years, and was more cunning than he had imagined. He had also been too careless. If he had known earlier, he would have set up a formation in front of the door, and he would not have been so passive now. He looked at Richcard and then at Sharapova, and said with a mocking face, "I didn't expect that you, the Emperor of the Divine Court and the Speaker of the Dark Council, would engage in a business like kidnapping and extortion. Aren't you afraid of losing face?" Richcard said, "Lei Fu is a werewolf. We should kill him, let alone catch him." Losing face? It's funny that someone from the dark world would say losing face. Sharapova laughed and looked at Qin Haodong. "I am a member of the Blood Clan. I only care about benefits when I do things. What is there to lose?" Qin Haodong had no choice but to say helplessly, "Tell me, what do you want me to do? But I warn you, don't ask for too high a price. These two people don't have a deep relationship with me. If your request is too much, I won't agree." "Is that so? I see that you and this woman are inseparable. But she said it has nothing to do with you. In that case, there is no need for us to negotiate." As an old monster who had lived for thousands of years, Sharapova was naturally not easy to deal with. She said with a charming smile, "Since you don't care, I will make her a descendant of our blood clan. This woman is white and tender, more beautiful than anyone else. We have countless strong werewolves and dark clan here. As long as you are not afraid of being cuckolded." Qin Haodong sighed secretly. Although nothing had happened between him and Shiyumi, he could not watch such a beautiful woman die in front of him. He said, "Tell me your conditions first, and I'll see if I can consider it." "My conditions are very simple. One of you must become a descendant of our blood clan. It's either you or her. Now choose. Sharapova valued Qin Haodong's lunar energy gathering formation more, but she also knew that the Dark Clan of the West could not use Eastern magic. Only by making this person her descendant could she solve the problem once and for all. Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "Your request is too much. I can't become a descendant of your blood clan. Let's change it." Sharapova said, "I only have one request, and there is no room for negotiation. They say that you are a love-struck fool. But it seems that the rumors are wrong. In that case, I will make her my descendant." Then she opened her mouth, revealing 2 sharp canines, and was about to bite Shiyumi's white and tender neck. Shiyumi did not struggle or resist. She looked at Qin Haodong with a complicated look in her eyes. Seeing that Sharapova's canines were about to pierce her white and tender skin, Qin Haodong said helplessly, "Wait a minute." Sharapova turned around and said, "What? Have you changed your mind?" Qin Haodong said, "Let her go, and I am willing to accept your embrace." He did not take out the drop of blood Emperor Kane's essence blood. Sharapova was cunning and powerful now. If she absorbed Kane's essence blood, she would be even more uncontrollable in the future. Sharapova came to her senses and said, "I'm glad you made this choice, but it's impossible to let her go first. I know that you Huaxia people are cunning. You have to become my descendant first." Qin Haodong said, "But what if you go back on your word after I become your descendant?" "No. Although this little girl is beautiful, she is of no use to our blood clan." Sharapova said, "If you still don't believe me, I can swear to my ancestor Kane that if I break my promise, I will be purified by the holy light of the divine court." Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "I don't think an oath is of any use to a shameless person like you." Sharapova smiled and said, "Maybe, but do you have any other choice now?" "You're right. I really have no other choice," Qin Haodong said helplessly. "Well, come here. I will accept your embrace." "That's right. It's great to be a noble blood clan and have endless life." Sharapova told Wolf to keep an eye on Shiyumi, and then walked toward Qin Haodong. Tears flashed in Shiyumi's eyes. She looked at Qin Haodong and cried, "Haodong, just go. Don't worry about me." Although Qin Haodong had always felt that Shiyumi was a little mysterious, he still felt her sincere feelings. He said with a smile, "I don't have the habit of leaving a woman alone." "You're right. That's what a man should do." Sharapova went straight to Qin Haodong without much defense. In her opinion, as long as this Huaxia man did not use any tricks, he was no match for her at all. "Huaxia people, accept my noble embrace." Sharapova's 2 sharp hands grabbed Qin Haodong's shoulders tightly, and then her 2 canine teeth bit his neck. Chapter 850. No. Shiyumi let out a miserable howl. A trace of remorse and anger flashed across her eyes, and then they turned into determination. She was exuding a monstrous killing intent from head to toe, and her momentum was astonishing. With a gentle shake of her arms, the ropes on her body were torn into pieces. Then, with a slight shake of her wrist, a red thread flew out like a snake and wrapped around Wolf's neck. At this moment, all the members of the Dark Parliament were focused on Qin Haodong and Sharapova. No one paid attention to Shiyumi, who seemed as weak as a chicken. When Wolf realized it, it was too late for him to break her neck. The red thread was even sharper than a steel knife. With a swoosh, it cut off his neck, and his huge wolf head flew high. It happened so suddenly that all the members of the dark race were shocked. Simeon, the grand wizard who was guarding Shiyumi with Wolf, wanted to launch a spell, but as soon as he opened his mouth, before he could say a syllable, the red thread drilled into his jaw like a snake, instantly penetrated his head, and flew out from the top of his head. All this happened in just 2 or 3 seconds. In a short moment, Shiyumi killed 2 masters of the Dark Parliament at the Saint Realm. Seeing all this, even the people of the Divine Court were shocked. Only Qin Haodong smiled gently. He had long felt that there was something wrong with this woman, so he took the opportunity to test her. Sure enough, she was an extremely powerful master. Sharapova also noticed the movement behind her, but she didn't care about it at all. As long as she could make Qin Haodong her descendant, the death of a few people was nothing. After Shiyumi killed the 2 guards in a row, the red thread in her hand shot toward Sharapova. Obviously, she wanted to stop her from killing Qin Haodong. But it was a little too late. Sharapova's 2 sharp canine teeth had already pierced Qin Haodong's artery. There was a flash of excitement in the vampire queen's eyes. As long as she controlled this Huaxia man, it was equivalent to controlling the lunar energy gathering formation. At that time, she would definitely become the master of the whole world. Crack! With a crisp sound, the smile on her face instantly froze. And then it turned into incredulity. Just now, her canine teeth did bite Qin Haodong's neck, but the sharp canine teeth not only failed to pierce the skin, but almost broke. After being a vampire for so many years, this was the first time she had encountered such a situation. Looks like your teeth aren't that strong. Qin Haodong smiled. After his nascent soul realm reached the late stage, his greenwood longevity body had been improved again. His skin was harder than steel, which was why he had promised Sharapova. Bastard. Cunning Chinese. Sharapova also knew that she had been tricked. While she was still in shock, Shiyumi's silk thread had already wrapped around her neck. However, the vampire queen's defense was much stronger than Wolf Emperor Worf's. The red thread didn't sever her head. Instead, it sent her flying high into the air. The furious Sharapova let out a scream. She turned around and suddenly grabbed at Shiyumi's face with her 2 front claws. The moment she pulled Sharapova back, Shiyumi couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief when she saw that Qin Haodong was fine. But just as she was about to relax, the vampire queen's 2 sharp claws had already arrived in front of her, and it was too late for her to dodge now. Sharapova's sharp claws were about to crush Shiyumi's head when a golden light flashed and pierced through Sharapova's chest. The powerful penetrating force of the Xian Yuan sword sent her flying backward and directly nailed her to the ground behind her. At this time, Sharapova no longer had the calmness and composure of a vampire queen. Shock and fear flashed across her face. As a vampire queen, she had a defense that ordinary people couldn't even imagine. Not to mention knives and swords, even machine guns couldn't penetrate her skin. But the golden sword in front of her had subverted her previous understanding. It pierced through her body effortlessly. Qin Haodong walked up to her and said with a smile, "I told you not to provoke me, but you didn't listen. How about now? Do you feel good now?" Sharapova wanted to resist, but the Xian Yuan sword put a great pressure on her. She was afraid that the sword would completely cut her in half if she moved. The members of the Dark Parliament behind her were all motionless. None of them stepped forward to help her. After Sharapova, the strongest dark creatures were Korkina and her daughter. Naturally, they wouldn't attack their master. As for the other dark creatures, it was in their nature to be selfish and afraid of the strong. If Sharapova was unscathed, they would naturally charge forward under the pressure of the Empress without any regard for their own safety. But at this moment, Qin Haodong had shown enough strength. Even the vampire queen had been trampled under his feet. These dark creatures didn't have the courage to attack. Seeing that her plan had completely failed, Sharapova said, "Please let me go. I will surrender to you and become your servant." Qin Haodong said, "Your Majesty, I just said that you are not even a human being. Why should I believe you?" Sharapova was completely panicked. She was not so scared even when she had fought against the emperor in the past. She was extremely regretful. Why did she provoke this Huaxia man? In order to get a chance to survive, she quickly said, "I'm telling the truth. Please believe me. I can swear to Cain, the ancestor of the vampires. If I break the oath, I will be purified by the holy light of the divine court," Qin Haodong said. "Since you have this wish, I will fulfill it." As he spoke, a hat suddenly appeared in his hand, and he put it on Sharapova's head. It was the divine crown that had been lost by the first emperor. It was originally a holy object of the divine court, and had endless holy power. If it was worn by someone of the divine court, it would greatly enhance their magic power. But at this moment, It was strangely put on the head of the vampire queen. After sensing the presence of the dark creature, the radiant stone on top of the divine crown instantly exploded with powerful radiant saint force. Before Sharapova could even scream, the powerful radiant saint light had already purified her completely. The poor president of the Dark Council, the powerful vampire queen, had ended up being purified. The members of the Dark Council were completely shocked. Although the Divine Court had been shouting all day to purify Sharapova, they had not succeeded for thousands of years. But now, she had been purified by a Huaxia man. All this looked a little ridiculous, but it made them extremely terrified. No one dared to retaliate against Qin Haodong. Their eyes were full of fear. The people of the Divine Court were the most shocked. The moment the Divine Crown appeared, Richcard's body trembled. He never dreamed that the Divine Crown, which the Divine Court had been searching for thousands of years, would appear in the hands of this young Huaxia man. If he could get this treasure back, he would become an invincible existence in the whole Western world. The others were the same. They had all heard that the Divine Court once had such a holy object, but it had been lost. Usually, they faced the fake hat that the emperor wore. Today they finally saw the real thing. No one doubted that the hat in Qin Haodong's hand was a fake, because the aura of light was so powerful that it instantly purified the vampire queen. Because of this, both the red-clothed high priest and the holy knight were momentarily dazed from the intense shock. The reason why Qin Haodong had chosen to kill Sharapova with the divine crown was because he wanted this effect. All of this was within his plan. Although Chen Fugui and Zhang Feiyang had become the holy knight and the red-clothed high priest of the divine court, they had always been ostracized by Richcard. This time they had been placed at the end of the line. But for the two guru-level experts, this distance was nothing at all. They had just received Qin Haodong's hint and were waiting for the opportunity to strike. Just as everyone was in a daze, they moved. The two of them were like two hurricanes, instantly rushing past the obstacles in front of them, and arriving behind the golden-haired wolf king Leviticus. Zhang Feiyang reached out and grabbed the neck of the red-clothed high priest Balderma, twisting him in two with a crack. At the same time, the holy light cross sword in Chen Fugui's hand pierced the holy knight Suk's chest, directly piercing his heart. By the time the others came to their senses, the two of them had brought Lev to Qin Haodong's side. This sudden turn of events brought Richcard back from his shock and greed, but all of this was no longer important to him. What he wanted most now was to take back the divine crown. Qin Haodong, as long as you return the divine crown to me, the grievances between us will be written off. Qin Haodong held the divine crown and said, I was originally entrusted by someone to return this thing to the divine court. Unfortunately, you have disappointed me. You do not deserve this sacred object at all. How dare you rob the sacred object of the divine court? The Lord will punish you. Richcard had completely lost his patience. He raised the god's blessing in his hand, and a huge light instantly enveloped Qin Haodong. It had to be said that greed made people forget fear. In order to get the divine crown, the emperor had forgotten that Qin Haodong had just killed the vampire queen with one sword strike. If Qin Haodong was still at the early stage of the nascent soul realm, he would still be a little afraid of the emperor. However, he was now at the late stage of the nascent soul realm. An attack at this level was simply vulnerable to him. He raised the Xian Yuan sword in his hand, and a golden light flashed, cutting the light curtain drawn by the god's blessing in half. The piercing sword qi strangled the holy light until nothing was left. A look of astonishment flashed across Richcard's face. The god's blessing was already his strongest attack, but it could not cause any harm to the Huaxia man in front of him. He turned back and shouted to Cathaway, Holy Maiden, let's join forces and take back the divine crown. In his opinion, Cathaway, who had obtained the angel's heart, had the same level of holy power as him. Although Qin Haodong's performance was very strong, they would definitely win if they joined forces. To his surprise, Cathaway shook her head and said firmly, Dr. Qin is my savior. I can't do anything to him. Richcard growled angrily, Cathaway, have you forgotten your identity? You are the holy maiden of the divine court. You have to sacrifice everything for the divine court. You must kill this heretic and take back the sacred object of our divine court." Cathaway stared at the handsome face in front of her and said affectionately, "I really wanted to be the holy maiden of the divine court and be respected by countless people. But now it's different. Since I met Dr. Chin, I feel that these things are no longer important. I can give up everything for him, even the identity of the holy maiden." Everyone was shocked. The people of the divine court opened their mouths wide. In their minds, they could sacrifice everything for the divine court. But the holy maiden in front of them had subverted their understanding. Even Chin Haodong was quite surprised. He did not expect Cathaway to love him so deeply. Chapter 851. Richcard was shocked and angry. The Holy Virgin, whom he had painstakingly welcomed back, was speaking for someone else in the end. "Cathaway, think about it. If you do this, I will deprive you of your status as the Holy Virgin." Cathaway shook her head indifferently. "I have already said that even if I don't become the Holy Virgin, I will not be Dr. Chin's enemy." Richcard was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. But he knew that now was not the time to attack the Holy Virgin. The most important thing was to get back the divine crown. Since he could not find help, he could only do it himself again. He raised God's favor in his hand and shot an arrow of holy light at Chin Haodong. Chin Haodong shook his head slightly. This guy knew that he was no match for him, but he still wanted to force his hand. In Huaxia's words, this was like a mouse being the cat's mistress. He wanted money more than his life. Chin Haodong raised his hand and pointed forward. The Xian Yuan sword immediately turned into a golden light and shot out, cutting Richcard's arrow of light into nothingness in the blink of an eye. This time, he had no intention of stopping. Since they could not be friends, they would completely become enemies. The Xian Yuan sword's momentum did not diminish. Before Richcard could come back to his senses, he felt a pain in his right wrist, and God's favor fell to the ground along with his elbow. "Since you insist on courting death, then go to hell." Chin Haodong shouted coldly. The Xian Yuan sword flashed again, creating a dazzling splash of blood. Richcard's head flew high. "Bastard, how dare you kill our emperor?" Unlike the members of the Covenant of Darkness, most of these people from the Holy Palace were loyal to the emperor. Seeing that Richcard had been killed, the remaining red-clothed high priests and holy knights rushed forward to fight Chin Haodong. However, the gap between their cultivation and that of Chin Haodong's was too great. Before Lo, Chen Fugui, and the others could come to help, the Xian Yuan sword had already pierced Holy Knight Bergkamp's throat. Alice was a little hesitant. She did not know whether she should attack the Huaxia man in front of her. From the Holy Palace's point of view, she had to avenge the dead emperor. However, from the bottom of her heart, she felt that Chin Haodong was a good friend and should not be her enemy. Before she could make a final decision, the remaining 6 high priests and 2 holy knights were all killed by the Xian Yuan sword. For a moment, the Holy Cross Sword of Light and the Holy Hexagram fell to the ground. "Stop right there. No one is allowed to attack Mr. Chin again." At the critical moment, Cathaway used her identity as the saintess to stop the remaining members of the Church of God's court. She knew that even if these people charged forward, they would only be courting death in the end. Looking at the murderous Chin Haodong, she said, "Chin, can you let these people go?" Chin Haodong took back the Xian Yuan sword and said, "They are all my enemies. I will never show mercy to my enemies. Otherwise, it will bring me endless trouble." She really couldn't bear to see these people die under the sword. She said, "Chin, please, for the sake of our friendship, let them go, okay?" Chin Haodong said, "I can let them go, but you have to promise me one thing." Cathaway said, "Tell me, I'll do anything." Chin Haodong raised the crown of God in his hand and said, "Put it on and become the new emperor of the Church of God. You are my friend. Only when you rule the Church of God can I feel at ease. Otherwise, I can only kill them." A hint of hesitation flashed across Cathaway's face. It was the dream of countless clergymen to sit on the throne of the emperor. But just like the former emperor of Huaxia, once he became the emperor, he was destined to be alone for the rest of his life. No matter whether he was a man or a woman, he couldn't marry for the rest of his life. This was not what Cathaway wanted. For the sake of the nearly 100 clergymen behind her, after hesitating for a moment, Cathaway finally nodded and said, "Okay, I promise you." Qin Haodong was about to give her the crown of God, when a burst of applause suddenly came from the side. Not bad at all. The internal strife of your human race is really wonderful. You've helped us get rid of several powerful opponents so quickly. Everyone turned their heads and saw 4 tall and strong men walking out of the dense forest next to them. The leading man was about 2 meters tall. His skin was dark and he looked ferocious. He was holding a huge steel fork in his hand. The 3 people next to him were similar in appearance, and they were holding various weapons in their hands. After seeing these 4 people, Qin Haodong's expression changed. Although these guys looked like human beings, the aura they exuded was exactly the same as that of the devil general's finger. His pupil shrank and he asked coldly, "Are you alien demons?" According to Emperor Huang Xianyuan, since these people could transform into human forms, they must be high-level members of the alien demons. Judging from their cultivation, they were comparable to the late stage of the human race's saint realm. Ha ha ha. I didn't expect you to have such good taste, but I can't let you live. The leading man laughed and said, "Since you've seen through me, there's no need for me to hide anymore. I'll let you see the power of the alien demons before you die." After saying that, his figure changed, and he grew about 1 meter taller. He was tall and strong, his body was covered with black hair, and there were 2 huge sharp horns on his head. With the steel fork in his hand, he looked no different from the bull demon king in the journey to the west. The only difference was that he had transformed into a group of invincible cattle lice. The other alien demons did the same and showed their real bodies. Everyone present was shocked. They had never thought that there would be such creatures on Earth, including the members of the Dark Council. They were from the Wolf Clan and the Blood Clan, but they had never seen such a bull-like creature. "Qin Haodong, I've let you be so arrogant for so long. Now I'm going to take your head. Shameless monster. How dare you talk to my master like this?" Corkina did not know about the existence of the alien demons. Seeing these monsters disrespect her master, she immediately rushed out with a shout. She was extremely fast. Her 2 sharp claws clawed at the leader of the alien demons. "How dare you, little bat, be so arrogant in front of me?" The alien demon stretched out his palm, which was as big as a palm leaf fan, and slapped Corkina. Corkina's sharp claws viciously clawed at the alien demon's palm. However, the alien demon's defense was simply astonishing. Even with the vampire prince's strength, not only was she unable to break the alien demon's palm, she was swatted away like a fly. This time, everyone present was even more shocked. Both the people of the Divine Court and the Dark Council knew Corkina's strength very well. It could be said that she was the strongest one after Sharapova, the vampire queen. However, she could not even block one attack from the alien demon. Qin Haodong stopped Lei Fu and the others who were about to rush forward. He said to the alien demons in front of him, "You look strong. You must be famous among the alien demons." The leader of the Yimo laughed. It was obvious that he did not take the people in front of him seriously. He said without hesitation, "It's almost time for us, the Yimo Emperor, to rule the earth. It doesn't matter even if I tell you. Insignificant humans like you can't stop us." He shouted, "We are the 4 devil generals under the alien demon emperor. I am the golden leaf general. I am the silver leaf general. The flaming leaf general. The Tui general." Qin Haodong's heart sank slightly. The devil generals of the devil race had already reached the late stage of the saint realm. The alien demon emperor would be even more powerful. Moreover, the alien demons who had been hiding behind the scenes had suddenly jumped out, which meant that their plan was likely to be carried out. At this time, the Golden Leaf General shouted, "Qin Haodong, the alien demon emperor thinks that you are a talent. Before we came here, he specially told us to give you a chance. As long as you surrender to the alien demons, we can spare your life." Qin Haodong put on a thoughtful expression and said, "This matter is too important. I have to discuss it with my friends first." "Up to you, but our time is limited. We can only give you 10 minutes. If you don't agree after 10 minutes, we will kill everyone here." The Golden Leaf General obviously relied on his strength and did not take these people seriously at all. "Don't worry, I'll be quick." Qin Haodong calmed the devil generals down and raised his hand to call Cathaway, Corkina, and Lei Fu in front of him. With his current strength, he could completely defeat the 4 devil generals, but it would be difficult to keep all of them here. He needed their help. Cathaway said anxiously, "Dr. Qin, you can't agree to their request no matter what. They are the enemies of the entire human race." Qin Haodong said in a low voice, "I know what to do. From now on, you should listen to my arrangements." He said to Lei Fu and Corkina, "Open your mouths." The 2 of them had a master-servant contract with Qin Haodong, so they did not hesitate at all and immediately opened their mouths. Qin Haodong took out the 2 small jade bottles and flicked them gently. The drop of Cain's primordial blood flew into Corkina's mouth, and the drop of Wolf Emperor Bierhoff's primordial blood flew into Lei Fu's mouth. After doing this, he put the divine crown on Cathaway's head. With his skills, it only took him 1 or 2 seconds to finish all of this. Before the 4 great demon generals could react, the situation had undergone a tremendous change. Cathaway originally had an extremely pure light physique. Otherwise she would not have been recognized by the angel's heart. At this time, she put on the divine crown, and a powerful aura of light instantly erupted from her body. This kind of power was 10 times stronger than that of the previous Divine Emperor Richcard. It was Corkina who changed later. As a vampire, the source of her power was the primordial blood in her body. After obtaining Cain's primordial blood, the blood in her body began to boil, and her momentum suddenly rose. Her whole body was shining with a blood-red light. Lei Fu swallowed the drop of Wolf Emperor Bierhoff's primordial blood. His eyes turned blood-red, and he howled at the sky. In an instant, he completed the werewolf's transformation. What was different from before was that the wolf hair on his head had all turned golden, and he was wearing a yellow crown, which was the special symbol of the Wolf Emperor. Feeling the powerful aura emanating from the 3 people, Shin Fugue cried in surprise, Are they masters at the divine realm?" Ever since he had stepped into the supreme power realm, he had a deeper understanding of Huaxia's martial arts. He knew that the Saint Realm was not the peak of martial arts. Legend had it that there were masters at the divine realm above the Saint Realm. The 4 devil generals, who had been standing to the side with arrogant expressions, suddenly changed their expressions when they felt the aura of the 3 people. They knew that they had been tricked. "Qin Haodong, go to hell!" The 4 devil generals immediately waved the weapons in their hands and charged over. Without waiting for Qin Haodong to speak, Cathaway, Corkina, and Lei Fu all went up to block 1 devil general each. Qin Haodong held the Xian Yuan sword in his hand and faced the Golden Leaf General, the leader of the 4 devil generals. "Despicable human, go to hell!" The Golden Leaf General shook the steel fork in his hand and stabbed it fiercely at Qin Haodong's chest. Updated in June. From September last year until now, the book Daddy Doctor has more than 2.8 million words. The original outline and detailed outline have been used up. Because of the mature idea and the detailed outline, the speed of writing was relatively fast, but it became more and more difficult towards the end. In order to ensure that the story is wonderful, I can only write a little slower. In June I guarantee 2 chapters a day. Please forgive me. Chapter 852. After reaching the late stage of Yuanying realm, Qin Haodong was invincible among his peers. The Xianyuan sword in his hand slashed forward, and the seemingly powerful steel fork in the Golden Leaf General's hand was cut in 2 like tofu. The Golden Leaf General was shocked, but before he could react, the Xianyuan sword had already cut off one of his arms. At the same time, Corkina, who had reached the divine realm, grabbed the Golden Leaf General like a child and bit his neck. Her sharp canine teeth instantly pierced his defense. Bah! 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 Bullshit alien demons, their blood doesn't taste good at all. Corkina's face was so ugly that she spat a few times on the ground. She broke the Golden Leaf General's neck and threw his body to the ground. The Golden Leaf General pounced on the Wolf Emperor Lev, waving the 2-meter-long machete in his hand and chopping down fiercely. Lev roared and raised his hand to grab the blade of the machete. The originally sharp machete was crushed like a hemp stick in his hand. The Golden Leaf General was shocked. He thought that the 4 devil generals could sweep this place today, but he didn't expect these people to be so fierce. In a panic, he turned around and ran, but Lev didn't give him a chance at all and punched him in the back. The Tui general's huge body was sent flying into the air. He began to spit out mouthfuls of blood in midair. Then, he hit his head on a rock next to him. Although he was not dead yet, he was barely alive. Relatively speaking, the Golden Leaf General died a more dignified death. Kothaway had already been recognized by the Angel's Heart, a sacred object of the Divine Court, and had infinite holy power. Now she had the Divine Crown and God's favor. With the 3 sacred objects in one body, she was definitely comparable to a Divine Realm Master. The Golden Leaf General held a long spear in his hand and stabbed at Kothaway with murderous intent. Kothaway gently waved the God's favor in her hand, and a huge light shield immediately appeared in front of her. Although this light shield was composed of pure holy power, it was condensed and extremely powerful. After the Golden Leaf General's spear stabbed into it, there was a sound of gold and iron colliding, and it could not move forward at all. Although this light shield consumed a lot of light holy power, the divine crown on Kothaway's head flashed and instantly filled the consumed holy power. This was the horror of a sacred object. With the divine crown, she had almost endless holy power. Kothaway waved the god's favor again, and a huge light shield shone down from the sky, trapping the Golden Leaf General in it. Although the alien demons came from a different space, they were still one of the dark creatures. As soon as they encountered the Radiant Saint force, their defenses immediately collapsed. The Flameleaf General did not even have time to scream before he was purified completely. Seeing his 3 companions die miserably, the Golden Leaf General was scared out of his wits. He turned around and ran. Golden Leaf General's Leaf General was shocked, and he, Leaf the Golden Leaf General he had turned could and ran woo, and the and who a and God Golden Leaf General was seriously injured and frightened at the same time. He could not even use his usual strength, so he became a delicious meal for the Golden Leaf General. Ever since the appearance of the 4 great demon generals, the Golden Leaf General in the Spirit Beast bag had become extremely excited. It kept begging Qin Haodong, and only then was it released. After swallowing the Golden Leaf General, the Golden Leaf General's body, which was as black as ink, changed a little. It faintly shone with a glimmer of light. As its master, Qin Haodong could feel that the Golden Leaf General was a little stronger than before. It could be seen that the alien demon was a rare tonic for the Golden Leaf General, which could actually help it evolve. After swallowing the Golden Leaf General, the Golden Leaf General was not satisfied. It rolled its big tongue again and swallowed the Silver Leaf General next to it. Then, it jumped and came in front of the Golden Leaf General again. It rolled its big tongue and was about to roll the Golden Leaf General into its stomach. "You can't eat this. I still need it." Qin Haodong hurriedly stopped the Golden Leaf General. It was not easy to keep an alien demon alive. It would be a pity if the Golden Leaf General was eaten like this. After receiving its master's order, the Golden Leaf General reluctantly put down the food in its mouth. However, it kept watching covetously. As long as Qin Haodong gave the order, it would swallow the Golden Leaf General again. The people nearby were all shocked. No one knew when such a big Golden Leaf General had appeared. They all hid far away and watched. The Golden Leaf General was punched by Lei Fu. With his strong defense, he was only seriously injured and fell to the ground. He did not die, but the Golden Leaf General was scared out of his wits. Qin Haodong kicked him and made him sit up. Then he asked, "Answer my questions honestly, or you know the consequences." Since this was the first time he had encountered the alien demon, and there was only one survivor, he did not dare to use the mind-manipulating skill rashly. If he killed the Golden Leaf General, there would be no more questions. The Golden Leaf General glanced at the Golden Leaf General, who was drooling, and said quickly, I know. I'll tell you whatever you ask. I won't hide anything, as long as you don't feed me to it. Qin Haodong asked, Tell me, where is the lair of the alien demons? I don't know. Seeing Qin Haodong's face darkening, the Golden Leaf General quickly explained, What I said is true. We are alien demons, but we have been guarding the empire where the sun never sets, and have never been to the headquarters. Except for the royal family of the alien demons, the other alien demons have no right to go to the headquarters at all. Qin Haodong frowned. It seemed that the alien demon's lair in the empire where the sun never sets was just a branch, not the real lair. Qin Haodong asked, Is Angel Pharmaceutical under the jurisdiction of your branch? That's right. They are indeed under the command of our branch. Qin Haodong asked, Why did you ask Angel Pharmaceutical to develop a large-scale virus? Well, the Golden Leaf General hesitated. Obviously, this question had touched his sore spot. Why? Don't you want to tell me? As if feeling its master's anger, the three-legged golden toad's big tongue immediately brushed General Tui's face. I'll tell you. General Tui said, The alien demon emperor is going to reopen the seal of the passage connecting to the alien demon realm. He needs a lot of souls, so he asked us to develop an incurable virus. When it's needed, he will kill humans on a large scale and get their souls. Qin Haodong's face immediately became cold. If the seal was really reopened, it would definitely be a disaster for human beings. He had to stop it. How does the alien demon emperor want to open the seal? I don't know. I'm just a devil general. That's all I know. Qin Haodong asked again. Where is the seal of the passage of the alien demons? General Tui shook his head again. The seal of the passage is a secret of the alien demons. Only the alien demon emperor knows its specific location. No one else knows. Qin Haodong asked. Aren't you from the alien demon realm? General Tui said. How is that possible? The average lifespan of the alien demons is only about 200 years old. I'm just 130 years old this year. I'm a descendant of the alien demons on Earth. However, in recent years, it has become more and more difficult for the alien demons to survive on Earth. Their reproduction rate is getting lower and lower. They don't have enough power to dominate this place. That's why the alien demon emperor is in a hurry to reopen the seal and bring our people to Earth. Qin Haodong asked, How powerful are the alien demons now? How many masters of your level are there? What level has the alien demon emperor reached? General Tui said, There are not many alien demons now. There are about 1,000 of them. There are a total of 12 devil generals of my level. The alien demon emperor's cultivation is unfathomable. We don't know exactly how strong he is. Qin Haodong asked, Apart from the alien demon emperor, are there any masters who are stronger than you? General Tui said, There are still masters in the royal family. Some are as strong as us, and some are stronger than us. We don't know exactly how many there are. Qin Haodong thought for a moment and asked, Is there a branch of the alien demons in Huaxia? Are there any alien demons who can transform into humans? General Tui said, There should be. After all, Huaxia is our main target. There are many people there, and it will be easier to collect the souls to break the seal. But this is just a guess. I don't know the specific situation there. Qin Haodong frowned. Although he had caught a high-level alien demon this time, the harvest was still limited. For example, he hadn't gotten the information he wanted yet. He asked again, Where are you born? Where are the rest of the alien demons? General Tui said, We were born underground, and we don't know where it is. When we reach a certain age and have the ability to fight, we are sent out. We are never allowed to go back, so we don't know where the headquarters are. Qin Haodong asked a few more questions, but he still didn't get any other information. It seemed that the alien demon emperor was also very careful with his own people, and didn't let them know too much. Are you telling the truth? Seeing that he had collected enough information, Qin Haodong directly used the mind-manipulating skill. General Tui suddenly bled from his 7 orifices and stopped breathing. As expected, the alien demons were different from the human clan. They couldn't bear the mind-manipulating skill. Qin Haodong waved his hand, and the 3-legged golden toad's big tongue rolled up and swallowed General Tui. Those who were not of the human clan must have a different heart. Qin Haodong naturally wouldn't show any mercy to such a foreign race that always wanted to destroy the human clan. After eating 3 alien demon generals, the 3-legged golden toad's body became brighter and brighter. It jumped back into the spirit beast bag. Qin Haodong scanned it with his spirit, and found that the 3-legged golden toad began to sleep after returning to the spirit beast bag. It seemed that it had obtained enough energy, and was about to advance. After a second, Qin Haodong looked at Corkina and said, "From now on, you will be the president of the Dark Council. Lei Fu will be responsible for assisting you. But remember, you must not have any conflict with the Divine Court. Our common enemy now is the alien demons." "Yes, Master." Corkina and Lei Fu bowed together. "Take your people back and send them out. You must find the lair of the alien demons." "Yes, Master." The 2 of them answered and left with the Dark Clan. Qin Haodong turned to look at Cathaway and said, "Take your people back to the Holy Palace first. I will make up for your red-clothed high priests and holy knights." He had just seen that the holy power of light could still restrain the alien demons. In the future, in the battle against the alien demons, the Divine Court would be an indispensable force. Now that Cathaway had become the emperor, the other red-clothed high priests and holy knights would also become his people. This was the fastest way to improve his cultivation at present. "Okay, I'll wait for you in the holy city." Cathaway knew that the most important thing at the moment was to reorganize the Divine Court. So she didn't say anything more, and went back with the rest of the clergy. Chapter 853. After the people of the Divine Court and the Dark Parliament left, there were only 2 people left in front of the huge cave. Qin Haodong looked at Shiyumi and said with a smile, "It's really hard for you. You're a master of the Saint Realm, but you've been hiding around me for so long." At this time, Shiyumi was like a different person. Although she was still smiling like a flower, and was beautiful and charming, her every move had the momentum of a superior. She asked, "I think my identity is flawless. How did you find out the flaw?" "Do you want to know?" Qin Haodong said with a smile. Although this woman must have another purpose for hiding beside him, he didn't have much resentment for Shiyumi, since she had taken a bullet for him, and risked her life to save him this time. Therefore, he was more curious about her than anything else. Shiyumi said with a smile, "Of course I do. I really want to know what the problem is." Qin Haodong said, "It is said that women have a 6th sense. In fact, men also have it. When you were with me, I always had a feeling of uneasiness in my heart. At first, I thought you were an alien demon who sneaked in, but now it seems that I guessed wrong. This makes me even more curious. Who on earth are you? You have such a high cultivation, and you didn't hesitate to sacrifice your body to approach me. What's your purpose?" Shiyumi did not directly answer his question. Instead, she continued to ask, "Your reason is too far-fetched. It doesn't explain the problem." Qin Haodong said, "Indeed, the feeling can't be used as direct evidence. What really made me start to suspect you was after the assassination in the bar. I have to say, your disguise is almost perfect and flawless, but you forgot that I'm a doctor. When I was treating you, I found that the bullet should have pierced your heart, but it didn't. Because you're a master, you can adjust your muscle tissue to change the trajectory of the bullet, so it didn't cause too much damage to you in the end. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't be able to see the flaw, but I'm a doctor." Shiyumi said, "You're indeed the medical sage. You can even find such a small flaw." Qin Haodong said, "I've said what I should say. Now it's your turn. Tell me who you are and why you approached me." Shiyumi winked at him mischievously and said teasingly, "Guess. We've met once before." Qin Haodong frowned and said, "It's too difficult. If I could guess, I would have guessed it long ago." Shiyumi said, "Is it that difficult? Don't tell me you've seen a lot of saints, especially a woman." This sentence enlightened Qin Haodong. He listed all the saints he knew from beginning to end, and found that there seemed to be no other female saints except Xianyuan Ligay. Suddenly his heart skipped a beat, and he said with a look of horror, "You're the sect master of the Devil Gate, Yao Li. You finally figured it out. Looks like you're not too stupid after all." This. Although he was sure of his answer, Qin Haodong still couldn't believe his eyes. The last time he faced the demon sect leader Li in Shanghai, she was an old woman over 60 years old. How did she suddenly become a sexy and enchanting beauty? It was precisely because of the huge contrast between the two that he had never thought in that direction. "What? Do you think it's strange?" Shiyumi said, "Our Devil Gate has been passed down for thousands of years. We always have some trump cards, such as the disguise skill, and the secret skill to hide our cultivation skills. 10 years ago my master, who was the previous sect master, passed away. In a place like our demon sect, where the strong preyed on the weak, she was afraid that I would be too young to control those old demons. So before she passed away, she asked me to disguise myself as her. When you saw me in Shanghai, it was actually my disguise." Qin Haodong came to his senses and said, "Is your current appearance real?" Shiyumi rolled her eyes at him and said, "Of course it's my original appearance." Qin Haodong said, "You're a sect master. Why did you disguise yourself as a fashion designer?" "What do you mean by disguise? It's so unpleasant to hear. I'm acting as myself now. I'm neither disguising myself nor disguising myself. I'm a top fashion designer," Shiyumi said. "As the saying goes, a great hermit hides in the city. I know that the Xianyuan Pavilion has been looking for me all these years, but I've been right under their noses, and no one has ever found me." Qin Haodong asked, "Then why did you approach me? Did you direct what happened that night?" Shiyumi said, "Yes, that night I calculated the road you would pass by and found 2 disciples of our sect to play hooligans, so that you had a chance to save the damsel in distress. Including the encounter on the plane this time. In fact, I investigated in advance. The seat close to you didn't belong to me. I bought it from someone else. The reason why I approached you is that what you said about the alien demon is too bizarre. We have never heard any news about the alien demon for thousands of years. Why do you know it so clearly? So I wanted to investigate you and see if it was a conspiracy between you and Xianyuan Ligay." Qin Haodong said playfully, "Is it just because of this? If it's just for this reason, it doesn't seem worth it for the sect master of the Devil Gate to spend so much effort to seduce me, right?" "Seduce you? Did I?" At this time, Shiyumi seemed to have become that sexy and charming fashion designer again. "Didn't you? Why do I feel that you did? Since you felt it, why didn't you take the bait? Could it be that I'm not beautiful and you can't be tempted?" Qin Haodong was speechless. It seemed that no matter who the other party was and how high her cultivation was, her thinking was still different from that of a man. Should this be her focus at this time? Seeing that he did not speak, Shiyumi rolled her eyes at him and said discontentedly, "To tell you the truth, I did have another purpose for approaching you. Since you appeared, not only did more and more saints surround you, but there are also many talents in the Zihong Sword House. More than half of the elders and sect masters have broken through the threshold of the saint realm. If this goes on, how can we survive? So in my opinion, you must have some special way to help people improve their cultivation. That's why I deliberately approached you. My purpose is to find this secret method. Although I didn't get your secret method, I also gained something. I reached the middle stage from the early stage of the saint realm. At that time, I left the fashion week to find a place to break through." Hearing what she said, Qin Haodong suddenly understood. Everything was reasonable. The Devil Gate had been fighting with the Zihong Sword House for so many years, so it was impossible for them not to notice their movements. seeing that Xianyuan Ligay's side produced saints one after another. But the Devil Gate did not move forward. As the sect master, it was natural for him to be anxious. Qin Haodong said, "There is indeed no secret method for the elders of the Zihang Sword House to improve their cultivation, but I gave them some pills. Now I can give you some too. Go back and improve the cultivation of the elders of the Devil Gate." After saying that, he took out a lot of pills, including the saint pill, from the storage ring, put them in a bag, and handed it to Shiyumi, explaining how to use it. Shiyumi took the pills and asked in surprise, "It's understandable that you gave the Zihang Sword House pills, but now you are so generous to our Devil Gate. Aren't you afraid that we will become your enemies after taking the pills?" Qin Haodong said, "That's for later. Our top priority now is to deal with the invasion of the alien demons. If they really open the space channel, the whole Earth will be finished. There will be no distinction between the Devil Gate and the Zihang Sword House." "That's true, but I still admire your magnanimity." Shiyumi put away the pills and said, "But according to what I know, your women have all suddenly become 9th-level supreme power masters from ordinary people. Do you have any secrets that you haven't told me?" Qin Haodong said, "That's different. My women and I use the secret method of dual cultivation. No one else can use it." Shiyumi gave him a flirtatious look and said, "Who said it can't be used? I'm also a woman." Qin Haodong said, "My dual cultivation method is only useful for those below the saint realm. It won't work for those above the saint realm." Shiyumi said with a flirtatious look, "But I always feel that you are lying to me. How about we give it a try?" Qin Haodong was speechless again. She was indeed the sect master of the Devil Gate. He really couldn't figure out what she was thinking. "Well, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first." He was about to leave when Shiyumi called out, "Wait a minute, I have one last question." Qin Haodong looked at Shiyumi and saw her eyes wander as she said, "We've been together for so long. Have you ever liked me? Even if it's just a little bit?" Looking at her burning eyes, Qin Haodong said with a little guilt, "You're the sect master of the Devil Gate, and I'm just a little doctor. We're destined not to be together. Why do we have to worry about those things?" After that, he rose into the air and flew into the distance. Looking at the direction in which he was leaving, Shiyumi smiled and murmured, "Who said that the sect master of the Devil Gate can't be with a doctor? Is there such a rule in the marriage law?" Qin Haodong stepped on the flying sword, and soon returned to the small valley on the outskirts of the empire, where the sun never sets. When he landed, Ma Wenjue was already waiting there with the other members of the Daddy Security Company. Ma Wenjue stepped forward and asked, "Boss, where have you been? Why didn't you take us with you?" "I went to the Crow Grand Canyon, and a lot of things happened there." Qin Haodong told them about the treasure hunt from beginning to end. When they heard that the alien demons had officially shown up, everyone became serious. Qin Haodong said, "Although there are not many alien demons, their strength is absolutely tyrannical. The devil generals have reached the late stage of the saint realm, so you have to hurry up and improve your cultivation." Qin Haodong said, "Although there are not many alien demons, they are absolutely powerful. The devil generals have reached the late stage of the saint realm, so you have to hurry up and improve your cultivation." As he spoke, he took out the 3 holy light cross swords and 6 holy hexagrams he had brought back from the divine court. "As long as you get the inheritance, you can immediately enter the saint realm." With Chen Fugue and Zhang Feiyang as precedents, everyone was no stranger to the inheritance. They knew that it was the best way to quickly improve their cultivation, so 9 people immediately stood up. "Boss, we're willing." Qin Haodong gave them cleansing pills. After they became pure, he asked them to win the recognition of the holy hexagrams and the holy light cross swords respectively. An hour later, 3 holy knights and 6 red-robed high priests were born in this small valley. After a while, the sky was already bright. Qin Haodong did not let everyone go back to rest. Instead, he took them directly to the headquarters of the Divine Court in Australia, the Sacred City. After Cathaway returned to the Sacred City, The situation in the sacred city was soon stabilized because she was recognized as the master of the divine crown, and had the help of Chen Fugui and Zhang Feiyang. When she heard that Qin Haodong was coming, she immediately took some people to welcome him. Chapter 854. The sacred city was an ancient building that had been passed down from ancient times. It had only been repaired, and its original appearance had not been changed. When they came to the lobby of the Divine Hall, Qin Haodong introduced all the red priests and holy knights he had brought with him to Cathaway. When they saw the holy power displayed by these people, Cathaway and Alex were both shocked. Compared with those in the Divine Court, the red priests and holy knights trained by Qin Haodong were even more powerful. Looking at the handsome oriental face in front of her, Alex had mixed feelings. Ever since she met this man, the entire Divine Court had undergone earth-shaking changes in just a few days. The Emperor had been replaced by Cathaway. None of the original 4 holy knights were left, and she was the only one left of the 6 red priests. In other words, although Qin Haodong did not sit on the throne, he had changed the entire Divine Court. Not only the Divine Court, but also the Dark Council was under his control. It could be said that this person was the actual ruler of the entire Western world. Cathaway said, "Dr. Qin, thank you for doing so much for our Divine Court." Qin Haodong said, "You're welcome. We must work together in front of the enemy." Although he had now integrated the forces of the East and the West, he still felt a little uneasy after seeing the strength of the Devil General. Although he had the advantage in numbers, he did not have the advantage in strength. After all, the battle between masters could not be changed by numbers. He had not seen the shadow of the alien demon emperor yet, and he did not know how powerful he was. Therefore, the top priority was to find every way to improve his strength and strive to enter the soul formation stage as soon as possible. Thinking of this, he said to Cathaway, "I want to ask, where did the bead on the divine crown come from?" "You mean the Netherworld stone?" Compared with Cathaway, who had just taken control of the Divine Court, Alex knew more about the previous situation. She said, "Ever since the divine crown of the first generation of the Divine Emperor was lost, the Divine Court has tried everything to find it, but it has not been found. Later, they made a fake divine crown and replaced the original holy stone with the Netherworld stone." Qin Haodong knew that the Netherworld stone should be the top-grade spirit stone he needed. He said eagerly, "Yes, that's the kind of stone. Does the Divine Court still have it?" Alice said, "Although the nethergreen stone is a precious gem, it doesn't have much use for us clergymen other than as decoration. That nethergreen stone was passed down from a long time ago. I'm not too sure if it's there or not. I'll have to go to the Celestial Court's treasury to find out." Qin Haodong said, "This kind of Qingming stone is extremely important to me. Can you take me to have a look?" This time, Alice could not make a decision. She looked at Cathaway. After all, she was the God Emperor. Cathaway nodded and said, "Of course. If there are more, you can take them away." The reason why she was so generous was that she had feelings for Qin Haodong. Also, as she had said before, the alien demons were around. This was a matter of life and death for the entire human clan. Naturally, she would not care about a few stones. After saying that, Alex brought the 2 of them to the treasury of the Divine Court. As the most powerful faction in the West, the Divine Court, which had been passed down for thousands of years, had an incomparably huge treasury that contained countless treasures. After walking through the door, Qin Haodong immediately felt the strong spiritual qi. There were all kinds of treasures, including antiques, swords, and weapons. Any one of them could be sold at a sky-high price outside. However, Qin Haodong did not care about these things. All he wanted were the top-grade spirit stones. The huge treasury was divided into more than a dozen rooms, covering an area of thousands of square meters. Qin Haodong walked through them one by one, but he did not find any upper-grade spirit stones. Could it be that it was the only top-grade spirit stone? Just as he was feeling disappointed, Alice opened the door of the last treasure room. After the heavy wooden door was opened, A strong gust of spiritual chi suddenly rushed out. Is this the top-grade spirit stone? Qin Haodong saw a small wooden box in the corner of the warehouse at a glance. There were dozens of top-grade spirit stones in it. Oh my god, there are so many! Qin Haodong had never expected that there would be so many top-grade spirit stones, which were extremely rare in the cultivation world, in the warehouse of the Divine Court. Moreover, they were just piled up here as useless decorations. He walked over and held the wooden box in his arms. He counted them from beginning to end and found that there were 36 of them. With so many top-grade spirit stones, it would be enough for him to cultivate to the divine transformation realm. Seeing his excited expression, Cathaway said, "Dr. Qin, if you need them, feel free to take them." "Then I'll thank you." Qin Haodong nodded. It seemed that this trip was really worthwhile. He had found so many top-grade spirit stones at once. Suddenly his heart skipped a beat. One could never have too many good things. Since there were so many top-grade spirit stones in the treasury of the Divine Court, there must be some in the Dark Council. Thinking of this, he could not wait to say goodbye to Cathaway and the others, and went directly to the headquarters of the Dark Council, the Dark Castle. Here he was more warmly received. After all, the new speaker of the Dark Council, Corkina, and Wolf Emperor Leaf were his servants. Here, Qin Haodong did not stand on ceremony. He said to Corkina, "Take me to the treasury of the Dark Council. I want to find something." Corkina and Leaf took Qin Haodong to the treasury of the Dark Council. It looked larger than the one in the Divine Court, about 2,000 square meters. This was not surprising. After thousands of years of inheritance, all the treasures collected by the entire Dark World were stored here. What was different from the one in the Divine Court was that some of the treasures here had a dark aura, and some had a strong smell of blood. They were all obtained through killing and robbery. Qin Haodong looked around as he walked. He searched the entire treasury, but he did not find any top-grade spirit stones. He could not help but feel a little disappointed. However, after thinking about it, he felt relieved. Treasures like supreme-grade spirit stones were rare, even in the cultivation world. To be able to obtain so many by chance in the Divine Court was already a great fortune. One should not be too greedy. Thinking of this, he was about to leave. When he walked to the door, he suddenly saw an animal skin bag in the corner. The mouth of the bag was open, and there was a faint fragrance coming from inside. "What's this?" Driven by curiosity, Qin Haodong grabbed the animal skin bag and opened it to look inside. His heart almost jumped out of his chest when he saw it. There were 3 small black balls lying in the bag, with patterns almost like stars and moons on the surface. The fragrance came from them. Seeing that Qin Haodong was interested in this thing, Corkina explained, "I know this. About 300 years ago, a Grand Duke of our blood kindred killed an Eastern practitioner. This bag was taken at that time. Treasure, this is a great treasure." Qin Haodong did not care about its origin. He reached out and grabbed the 3 small balls in his hand. Leaf came over to have a look. He did not see anything special about the 3 little things. He asked curiously, "Master, what are these?" "These are good things. They are called starry moon Bodhi seeds. Legend has it that only a 10,000-year-old Bodhi tree can bear starry moon Bodhi seeds. They are 10 times more precious than 1,000-year-old ginseng." Leaf did not understand traditional Chinese medicine, nor did he know how precious ginseng was. But Qin Haodong was happy to see it. After reaching the Saint Realm, it was extremely difficult to improve one's cultivation, especially in a place like Earth, where spiritual qi was scarce. The only way to help the people around you improve their cultivation quickly was to take elixirs. To improve the cultivation of a saint, the best elixir was the nature elixir. Qin Haodong had the recipe of the nature elixir. As the name suggested, this elixir could improve one's cultivation. As long as one took it, it could help a Saint Realm master improve by 1 level. If one had good qualifications and a deep foundation, it would not be difficult to break through to the Divine Realm. It was a pity that it was too difficult to find the main ingredient of the nature elixir, the starry moon Bodhi seed. Some time ago, He had asked Lin Momo to search around through the traditional Chinese medicine company, but there was no result. He did not expect to find 3 here today. After leaving the treasure house, Qin Haodong left the west and flew back to Huaxia. This trip was not in vain. Not only did he break through to the late nascent soul stage, but he also got 36 top-grade spirit stones. At the same time, there were 3 Bodhi seeds, which could help the people around him improve quickly. After returning to the capital, the first thing he did was to practice in seclusion. 3 days later he came out again. It seemed that there was no difference from before, but only he knew the great change. Then he took the little fellow into the alchemy room to refine the nature elixir. As an elixir that could improve the cultivation of a saint, the nature elixir had extremely high requirements for the flame and technique of alchemy. After reaching the nascent soul stage, Qin Haodong could also release his own alchemy fire, but the effect was far less than that of the vermilion bird. After so many times of alchemy, Tang Tang was already familiar with it. When Qin Haodong set up the Shinong tripod, she opened her mouth and spat out a flame. At this moment, the flame she spat out was golden, but there was a faint trace of white, which was infinitely close to the Samadhi real fire. Qin Haodong quickly controlled the alchemy furnace, took out the medicinal materials from the storage ring, and threw them into the Shinong tripod one by one, and slowly refined them. Half an hour later, when the other medicinal materials had been refined into medicinal liquid, he carefully threw out a starry moon Bodhi seed. Another 10 minutes later, the whole alchemy room was filled with a strong fragrance. Qin Haodong reached out and patted the Shinong tripod gently. 12 golden elixirs flew out and fell into the prepared jade bottle. Great, there are 12 of them at once. Qin Haodong was overjoyed. Originally, he was afraid that there were too few nature elixirs. Now there were as many as 12 in one furnace, which was basically enough to meet his current needs. Next, he refined 2 more furnaces of elixirs. When he walked out of the alchemy room, there were 36 more nature elixirs in the storage ring. He took out a bottle of nature elixir and handed it to Lin Momo. After such a long period of cultivation, his women had basically reached the saint realm. Then he called Xianyuan Ligay and Shi Yumi, and sent someone to invite his father, Qin Zongheng, to his home. The 3 of them were masters at the middle stage of the saint realm. He wanted to see how much change the nature elixir could bring to them. It would be best if they could break through to the divine realm in one fell swoop. Chapter 855. The first person to come to the Tang sect was Shi Yumi, the leader of the Devil Gate. Little brother, I didn't expect to meet you again so soon. Why did you call me here? Do you miss me? Shi Yumi's identity was exposed. She no longer maintained the image of a designer, but showed the charm of the leader of the Devil Gate. After her, Xianyuan Ligay and Qin Zongheng arrived one after another. After Qin Haodong introduced them to everyone, Xianyuan Ligay looked at Shi Yumi up and down. The Devil Gate and the Cihang Sword House had been fighting for thousands of years, but now they could calmly cooperate with each other. She felt a little strange. Qin Zongheng asked, Haodong, why did you call us here? Qin Haodong told them what he had experienced on this trip to the west from beginning to end. At last, he said, now the alien demons are powerful, and the most important thing for us is to improve our cultivation. I just refined a furnace of nature pills, which are very beneficial for the saints. Shi Yumi asked, nature pills. The name sounds good. Little brother, how useful can this pill be? If it's too slow, I'm afraid it's too late. Qin Haodong said, the nature pills can help you improve by at least 1 level. If you're lucky, it won't be difficult for you to break through to the divine realm. Shi Yumi said, really? That's great. Hurry up and give one to me. Qin Haodong said, if the momentum of breaking through to the divine realm is too great, it's not appropriate for us to stay here. Let's go outside. The 3 of them nodded and followed Qin Haodong to the Shinbao Mountain on the outskirts of the capital. He was already familiar with this place. He took the 3 of them to the top of the mountain and asked them to choose a suitable place to sit down. Then he took out 3 nature pills and gave them to the three of them. If he just wanted to improve to the late stage of the Saint Realm, one nature pill was enough. But if he wanted to help them break through to the divine realm, he naturally had to use more. Qin Haodong set up formations and restrictions around them, and then guarded the three of them. He asked them to take the pills to break through. According to the arrangement, the three of them took a nature pill each. After an hour, they all broke through to the late stage of the Saint Realm, which showed the magic of this pill. After that, the three of them stuffed the remaining 2 creation pills into their mouths and began to focus on breaking through to the godly state. Among the three of them, Qin Zongheng was the rare martial arts genius of the Qin family. His aptitude was excellent, and he had reached the middle stage of the Saint Realm many years ago. His foundation was the deepest. 2 hours later, he was the first to complete his breakthrough. The surrounding qi of heaven and earth gathered towards the divine treasure mountain like crazy. The wind and clouds in the sky changed and dark clouds covered the sky. Although it was already the beginning of winter, there were still faint sounds of thunder. Qin Zongheng's aura soared, and he finally stepped into the divine state. After him, Shi Yumi and Xuanyuan's Ge broke through almost at the same time, and both entered the divine realm. Qin Haodong was quite surprised by this result. He had thought that it would be lucky if 1 or 2 of them could make a breakthrough. He did not expect that the 3 of them had reached the divine realm together, with their excellent qualifications. Shi Yumi stood up and said charmingly, "Little brother, your medicine is really powerful. Thank you. We'll all follow your orders in the future." Then she came to Qin Haodong's side, winked at him and said, "Do you have any more of this medicine? Give some to our devil gate. We can't be biased." Qin Haodong said, "Here are 5 creation pills. Take them to the masters who have reached the Saint Realm. The number of pills is limited. Don't waste them." A hint of joy flashed across Shi Yumi's face. "Thank you." After that, she took the pills, said goodbye to Qin Haodong, and rose into the sky. Qin Haodong gave Xianyuan Legay some more pills, and asked her to take them back to the Zihong Sword House. After cultivating 3 God State Masters, Qin Haodong finally breathed a sigh of relief. In addition to Cathaway, Lo and Corkina, he already had 6 God State Masters. Even if the alien demon emperor appeared, he would still be able to fight against him. The next few days were peaceful. Everyone was taking the time to improve their strength. Qin Haodong had been staying in the Tang sect to help them make breakthroughs. A week passed. One morning, when Qin Haodong woke up, he found that it was silver outside. The first snow of early winter had wrapped the entire capital. After breakfast, Qin Haodong's phone rang. He picked it up and took a look. It was Hua Mingrui, the tea fairy. The phone was connected, and Hua Mingrui's bitter voice came from the other side. "Haodong, I heard that you've returned to the capital." Feeling the bitterness in her tone, Qin Haodong couldn't help but have a headache. It seemed that it was not a good thing to have too many love debts. He said, "Yes, I came back a week ago." Hua Mingrui said, "You've been back for so long, but you haven't come to see me. Have you forgotten me?" Qin Haodong said awkwardly, "No, I've been busy recently." Hua Mingrui sighed faintly and said, "Today is the first snow of early winter. Can you drink tea with me and enjoy the plum blossoms?" Qin Haodong hesitated for a moment, but in the end, he couldn't bear to refuse. He said, "Yes, where can I find you?" Hua Mingrui said, "Let's go to the plum garden in the east of the city. I'll make some tea and wait for you here." After hanging up the phone, Qin Haodong arrived at the plum garden in the east of the city half an hour later. The environment here was extremely beautiful. Next to it was a small artificial lake. At the moment, it was covered with thin ice and a layer of white snow. There was a plum forest by the lake, but it was just winter. There were only a few plum blossoms in full bloom. The delicate petals looked particularly gorgeous in the white snow. Beside the lake, in the middle of the plum forest, there was a simple tea table and 2 chairs. Hua Mingrui was wearing a fiery red woolen coat, and her hair was tied up high. Her delicate and flawless face made her look like a fairy from heaven, which made people's hearts beat faster. When Qin Haodong came over, she had already made a pot of tea. The strong fragrance of tea filled the entire plum garden in the breeze. Haodong, you're here. After seeing Qin Haodong, a strange look flashed in Hua Mingrui's eyes. She pulled him to sit beside her. They held hands and Qin Haodong's expression changed slightly. Then he said, "The tea fairy is really elegant. There is snow, plum blossoms and fragrant tea here. It's simply a paradise on earth. It's all prepared for you." Hua Mingrui personally poured a cup of fragrant tea for Qin Haodong and said, "You've been back for so long, but you didn't come to see me. I had to take the initiative to invite you." Qin Haodong said, "It's nothing. It's just that there have been too many things recently." Hua Mingrui said, "I've been to the Donghui Clinic of Traditional Chinese Medicine, but I didn't see you. What have you been busy with?" Qin Haodong said, "Some business matters. I've been busy all day, but it's nothing serious. Taste the tea I made. How far is the gap between you and me?" Hua Mingrui did not continue the topic. She handed a cup of fragrant tea to Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong took the teacup, squinted his eyes and sniffed it. He said with admiration, "Not bad. Your attainments in the tea ceremony have improved again, and the tea is also very good. This is the leaf picked from the mother tree of Dahongpo. I got it from my grandfather. He only has a few tails of it." Hua Mingrui looked straight at Qin Haodong and said, "Don't just smell it. Taste it." Qin Haodong picked up the teacup and took a sip. He said with an intoxicated look, "Good tea. It's really good. If you don't put the soul-numbing powder in it, the taste will be even better." Hearing this, Hua Mingrui's expression suddenly changed, and the teacup in her hand spilled out. "How did you know?" Qin Haodong said with a smile. "As a doctor, of course I'm familiar with all kinds of poisons. The soul-numbing powder has no effect on ordinary people, but it's a highly toxic poison for masters above the saint realm. It can directly poison the soul of a person. After eating it, the person will feel weak all over, and be no different from an ordinary person. However, the soul-numbing powder needs the soul-numbing grass as the raw material, and this grass grows next to volcanoes. It's very difficult to pick one, so this kind of poison is extremely rare. I really don't know where you got it," Hua Mingrui said with a complicated expression. "You also know my identity." Qin Haodong nodded with a smile. Hua Mingrui said, "When did you find it?" "Just now." After a little panic flashed across Hua Mingrui's face, she quickly calmed down and asked again, "I don't think I have any flaws. How did you find out?" Qin Haodong said, "You underestimate the wisdom of the human clan. When I went to the west this time, I found the relics left by the Yellow Emperor Xianyuan, a powerful figure in Huaxia. Senior Xianyuan said that the high-level members of the alien demon clan are good at changing, but no matter how much you change, you can't erase your own aura. In order to find the hidden alien demon clan, he also left us a finger of a devil general. When I got the finger bone, I was quite surprised. It seemed that I had seen this kind of aura before, but I couldn't remember it for a while. It wasn't until I held hands with you just now that I suddenly realized that this aura came from you. I thought I was a human now, but I didn't expect that I'm still different from you." A lonely look flashed across Hua Mingrui's delicate face, and then she asked, "Since you've seen through my identity, why are you still so calm? Is it useful to panic?" Qin Haodong said, "The strength of the alien demon clan is indeed very strong. This time I met the 4 devil generals in the west. Their cultivation is comparable to our human clan's late-stage Saint Realm warriors. I believe that you will only be stronger than them." Hua Mingrui said, "Since you know that my tea is poisoned, why did you still drink it?" Qin Haodong said, "I didn't care at first, but after drinking it, I found that the tea was poisoned. I didn't expect that you would use such a despicable method when you are so strong. Isn't that good?" A lonely look flashed across Hua Mingrui's face again. "Whether you believe it or not, I have always regarded you as my friend, so I don't want to fight with you. It would be best if I could poison you." Qin Haodong asked, "Can you tell me your identity in the alien demon clan?" Hua Mingrui said, "My father is the alien demon emperor, and I'm his daughter, Princess Geruo." Chapter 856. Qin Haodong said with a wry smile. I didn't expect you to be the princess of the alien demon tribe. Even the princess has come. So I'm going to die today. Hua Mingrui's face flashed with a trace of pity. I really don't want to kill you. But your existence has seriously threatened the plan of our alien demon tribe. It's my father's order to kill you. I can't do anything about it. You can't blame others. Blame yourself for growing up too fast. Ever since you developed the blood revival elixir, you have been constantly destroying our plans and attacking our industry. At first, you were just an ordinary warrior, but now you have even broken through to the Saint Realm and killed the 4 devil generals of our alien demon tribe. In order to open the space channel and welcome millions of my people, I have to carry out my father's order, although I don't want to. Qin Haodong said, for the sake of our previous friendship, can you satisfy my curiosity before I die? I don't want to die without understanding some things. Hua Mingrui said, tell me. I will satisfy you as long as I know. As the daughter of the alien demon emperor, Princess Garo of the alien demon tribe, Qin Haodong was already a dead man in her eyes, so she was not afraid to tell the secret. Qin Haodong said, I want to know, what's the relationship between you and the tea fairy? This was very important to him. If Princess Garo was the tea fairy, Hua Mingrui, it meant that the Hua family had an inextricable relationship with the alien demon tribe. The consequences would be serious. Hua Mingrui said, I know what you mean, but I can tell you for sure that I am me, and the Hua family is the Hua family. There is no connection between us. As early as 3 years ago, our hybrid demon ancestor made this plan. I was responsible for breaking into the upper class of the capital. So I killed the previous Hua Mingrui at a suitable opportunity. I changed into her appearance and replaced her identity. Because I particularly liked the tea ceremony of the human tribe, there was a flower fairy in the capital from then on. Qin Haodong breathed a sigh of relief. Although he felt sorry for the death of Hua Mingrui, it was also good news. Hua Mingrui said, to be honest, I like my current identity and I like my beautiful appearance. In comparison, the appearance of our alien demons is too ugly. The past 3 years were the happiest days of my life. I liked this identity more and more. I worked hard to do everything that belonged to Hua Mingrui. Sometimes I even forgot that I was an alien demon. It wasn't until you killed the 4 great demon generals 7 days ago that my imperial father gave me the order to kill you. Only then did I remember that I'm still the princess of the alien demon tribe. I have to think for the sake of my millions of people. Qin Haodong asked, I don't understand. You alien demons have your own space. Why do you have to invade our homeland? If that's not the case, I think we can still be friends, even though the alien demons are ugly. Hua Mingrui sighed and said, sometimes we can't control our own fate. Our hybrid demon clan comes from the hybrid demon space. However, the living environment there is getting worse and worse. It is becoming more and more unsuitable for us to live in. In order for our clansmen to survive and multiply, we can only find another place to live. All the powerful figures of the alien demon clan finally opened the space barrier, and we were able to come to Earth. It's a pity that the creatures here are more powerful than we imagined. They resealed the space hole. Only a few scattered alien demons like us stayed here. Although Earth is not our favorite living environment, it can still allow us to survive. In order to save our clansmen, we can only seek to open the space barrier again and bring them to Earth. Qin Haodong frowned and said, but this is our homeland. It doesn't belong to you at all. You are robbers. Princess Garo shook her head and said, in our alien demon clan, the law of the jungle has always been the law of survival. There is no such thing as robbing. For example, the 4 great demon generals who just died. They were not as strong as you, so they were killed by you. This is the law of nature. Qin Haodong knew that it was meaningless to discuss this issue. If his side was not strong enough, Earth would be occupied by the alien demon clan. Qin Haodong asked, it has been 5,000 years since the ancient war. In these 5,000 years, the human clan has not found any trace of you. Can you tell me where you people have been living? Princess Garo smiled and said, I know this is what you want to know the most. You have been searching our headquarters during this period of time, but you have found nothing. Since you want to know, I will tell you. Tell me, where is the most important place for our clansmen? Qin Haodong's expression changed. The location of the space hole? Princess Garo said, Yes, there is no place more important to us alien demons than there. So my clansmen have been living there. On the one hand, we guard the location of the space seal, and on the other hand, we can absorb the devil chi that seeps through the hole to help our clansmen cultivate. It's a pity that the devil chi that we can understand is getting less and less. This is also an important reason why there is a lack of masters in our clan. Qin Haodong asked. This is also the question I want to ask the most now. Where is the space hole that connects the alien demon space to here? Princess Garo said, Have you heard of the Bermuda Triangle? Of course I have. It is an area unknown to humans, full of all kinds of strange things. Princess Garo said, The reason why it is strange, the reason why it is full of changes, and the reason why it is full of all kinds of energy is because of the space hole. Although your clansmen sealed the space hole in the past, there were still basic energy fluctuations, so there were all kinds of abnormal situations. Originally, we were worried that the space hole would be discovered by your human clan, but later you actually set it as a forbidden area. Fewer and fewer people went there, which made us feel relieved. So for thousands of years, our clansmen have been living quietly on a small island in Bermuda. We named it Alien Demon Island. Hearing this news, Qin Haodong was excited. No wonder the intelligence network of the Dark Net and the Xiangyuan Pavilion could not find where the alien demons were. It turned out that they were hiding in the inaccessible Bermuda Triangle. Naturally, no one would know there. Princess Garo reached under the tea table and took out a shiny dagger. She threw it in front of Qin Haodong and said, Do you have any other questions? If not, do it yourself. I really don't want to kill you. Qin Haodong took the dagger and looked at it. He said, One last question. How are you alien demons going to open the space seal? When are you going to do it? I don't know when. I'm afraid no one knows except my father. The method is to use the secret method of the alien demons to collect the power of millions of ghosts at once to break the space seal. Princess Garo said, I've answered all your questions. Let's go. Qin Haodong held the dagger in his hand, played with it, and slammed it on the tea table in front of Princess Garo. As you said, I don't have the heart to do it to you. Solve it yourself. Princess Garo's expression changed. What do you mean? Do you still want to resist after being poisoned by my soul-numbing powder? Qin Haodong said lightly. If I was poisoned by the soul-numbing powder, I would have no ability to resist. It's a pity that I didn't drink it. Princess Garo cried. That's impossible. I saw you drink it with my own eyes. She did see Qin Haodong drink the cup of tea with her own eyes, so she dared to tell these secrets. Qin Haodong said with a smile, It seems that you alien demons don't know much about the human race. Have you heard of a magic called illusion? I just used a little trick to deceive your eyes. In fact, I could tell from the fragrance of the tea that there was something in it. Otherwise, do you think I'm called the medical sage for nothing? Princess Garo exclaimed, How dare you lie to me? Qin Haodong said, I have no choice. As you said just now, I have to do this for my people. Otherwise, I really can't dig out the alien demons. Princess Garo said with a murderous look, Do you think I can't kill you if you don't drink the soul-numbing powder? I just don't want to do it myself. After saying that, she suddenly stood up, and the momentum of her whole body suddenly rose. The power exuded from her body was much stronger than that of the 4 great devil generals she had seen before. Qin Haodong still looked calm. You are indeed the royal family of the alien demons. You are really powerful. Princess Garo said, Qin Haodong, you really shouldn't have forced me to do it. As she spoke, she stretched out her white and tender hands and black chi popped out from between her fingers like threads as thin as hair. Qin Haodong's expression changed slightly, It could be seen that Princess Garo's attainments were very high to be able to control the devil chi to such an extent. Go to hell! Princess Garo shouted in a low voice and flicked her fingers. The black threads shot towards Qin Haodong like sharp arrows from a bowstring. Qin Haodong gently bounced his feet and leaped more than 10 meters into the air, dodging the attack. The black threads shot past, and the mahogany tea table, which had been intact just a moment ago, was instantly pierced into pieces and flew everywhere. Do you think you can run away like this? Princess Garo also leaped into the air and flicked her fingers continuously. The dense silk threads once again entangled Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong did not dare to be careless at all. He had just seen the power of the devil chi, which was even sharper than a sword. He ran his genuine chi and leaped more than 10 meters higher. A golden light flashed in his hand, and the Xian Yuan sword appeared. He slashed down from above towards Princess Garo. You've been fooled. Princess Garo's eyes were full of murderous intent. She flicked her fingers, and the black devil chi was dozens of times denser than before. In a moment, it covered an area of 10 meters and formed a dense devil chi net. Under my total darkness, let's see where you can run this time. Princess Garo let out a burst of proud laughter. The dense devil chi had completely surrounded Qin Haodong, and there was no way to escape. Why should I run? With a soft shout, the golden light in the demonic chi net suddenly soared, and the Xian Yuan sword, with an indomitable momentum, instantly broke through Princess Garo's total darkness and fiercely slashed towards her chest. Divine Realm? You've actually broken through to the Divine Realm? Princess Garo turned pale with fright. She had never expected Qin Haodong to grow so fast. He had actually broken through to the Divine Realm in just a few days. All of this was beyond her expectations. She hurriedly mobilized all the devil chi and condensed it into a black chi sword. She faced the Xian Yuan sword head-on. Chapter 857. However, Princess Garo not only underestimated Qin Haodong's cultivation, but also underestimated the power of the Xian Yuan sword. This kind of ancient magic weapon was not comparable to the devil chi sword in her hand at all. The Xian Yuan sword destroyed the devil chi sword in an instant, and the huge golden blade suddenly stabbed into Princess Garo's chest. After a short moment of astonishment, Princess Garo's face flashed with a relaxed look. She smiled sweetly and said, I'm finally free. This abnormal behavior surprised Qin Haodong. Princess Garo continued, to be honest, I have fallen in love with this world and human beings. I even fantasized countless times that I could become one of them. But for the sake of my people, I have to be enemies with human beings. This kind of contradictory psychology tortures me every day, and I can't sleep. Now I'm finally free. Qin Haodong felt an inexplicable pity for her when he saw that she had a relaxed smile instead of a painful expression with a sword in her chest. Princess Garo continued, to be honest, you have always been my best friend in my heart. Can you promise me one last request? Qin Haodong said, tell me. As long as you don't betray the human clan, I can promise you anything. It's not that serious. Princess Garo smiled sweetly and said, I have been replacing Hua Mingrui for 3 years. Now I love this identity so much that I can't extricate myself. I want to be a human being and have my own feelings. I want to fall in love with someone. It's a pity that this wish can't be realized in this life. My request is that you can bury me with my current appearance, so that I can keep my most beautiful appearance after death. Qin Haodong sighed secretly. It seemed that both the human clan and the alien demon clan loved to be beautiful. Naturally, he would not refuse this kind of request. He nodded and said, I promise you. Thank you, Princess Garo said. During the days when you were away, I knew that the day of the final battle was coming, so I took a lot of photos of myself. Before I came out, I chose the most beautiful one and put it on the desk in the tea house. I hope you can use it as the photo on my tombstone. Don't use my name Princess Garo. I don't want to have anything to do with the alien demon clan. Just call me Hua Mingrui. Qin Haodong said, I can also promise you that. Princess Garo smiled again. Just like she said, she wanted to leave her most beautiful face in this world. Send me on my way. I hope your King Yinluo of Huaxia doesn't mind my identity as an alien demon. Let me be reincarnated and become a Huaxia citizen in the future. Rest in peace. Qin Haodong turned his head and spat out his green with genuine qi, instantly shattering Princess Jialuo's heart and ending her life. Even when she became a corpse, Princess Garo still had an indifferent smile on her face. She looked like she was sleeping soundly and not dead. Qin Haodong sighed and took her body back to the Tang sect. First, he found Wei Yanran and briefly explained the situation. After that, he left the burial to Wei Yanran. Wei Yanran was shocked and sad. She had never expected that her best friend was the princess of the alien demon tribe. At the same time, she shed tears for losing her best friend. Death was like a lamp going out. The past was the past. What she needed to do now was to bury her according to Hua Mingrui's last words. Qin Haodong gathered Xianyuan Legay, Shi Yumi, Qin Zongheng and others in the Tang sect. He immediately held an emergency meeting and disclosed the information obtained from Princess Garo to everyone. Everyone was excited when they heard that there was finally news about the alien demons. Hu Xiaoxian said, "Anyway, Princess Garo is an alien demon after all. How true is her words? Is she lying to us?" "I've also thought about that." Qin Haodong had also thought about this. Although he had been poisoned by the soul-numbing powder at that time, no one knew whether Princess Garo was telling the truth or not. He could not be 100% sure now. He said, "I've already thought about it. I'll go to the Bermuda Triangle now and check if the nest of the alien demons is there. Everyone will wait for my news in the capital and be ready to fight against the alien demons at any time." Feng Wu said, "Isn't it too dangerous for you to go alone? Why don't I go with you?" Qin Zongheng was also worried about his son's safety. He said, "That's right. I'll go with you." Everyone was afraid that Qin Haodong would be in danger, so they all said that they would go with him to Bermuda. Qin Haodong waved his hand and said, "Don't worry, everyone. I have my own means to save my life. Even if the alien demon emperor comes in person, he won't be able to hurt me. This is just to inquire about the information, not to fight. If too many people go, it will be easy to be exposed. It's best for me to go alone." Seeing that he insisted, the others could not say anything more. They could only repeatedly tell him to be careful. After the discussion, Qin Haodong returned to his room and made a few more invisibility talismans. After his cultivation reached the god transformation stage, the talismans he made were not only more stealthy, but also could last for half an hour. After getting ready, he stepped on the flying sword and rushed to Bermuda like a meteor. The Bermuda Triangle was located in the southeast of the Florida Peninsula of M country. It was densely covered with islands and was one of the most mysterious places on Earth. There were all kinds of legends about it. Some said that it was the territory of aliens and that there were often flying saucers. Some said that they would see all kinds of monsters here. Whether the legends were true or not, countless ships and planes had mysteriously disappeared here for hundreds of years. Over the centuries, countless exploration teams had gone here and never returned. In the past, no one knew why, but now Qin Haodong had found the reason. It would be strange if the alien demons would come here to explore. When night fell, he came here on the flying sword. Although he had not officially entered Bermuda, he had faintly felt the fluctuation of spiritual power produced by a large formation. This should be the formation that sealed the space loophole. No matter where the nest of the alien demons was, the space loophole must be here. For safety's sake, he first activated an invisibility talisman, and then slowly flew into Bermuda. He was not in a hurry to find the traces of the alien demons. Instead, he flew straight to the space loophole, along the direction of the spiritual power fluctuation. To his surprise, the position of the space loophole was not too high. It was only about 100 meters from the sea. It seemed that the alien demons opened this space loophole randomly and did not know where it led. Before he came to the loophole, he he was blocked by an invisible force. This was the power of the formation seal. Qin Haodong circled in front of the loophole and kept scanning the formation with his spirit. He had to admire the power of the ancient powerful people. With his current cultivation, he could also seal this space loophole, but he could not do it to this extent. It had been 5,000 years, but the energy of the seal did not seem to have weakened much. No wonder the alien demons had to collect millions of ghosts to open the seal here. After checking it out, he felt much more at ease. Such a powerful seal couldn't be broken by just anyone. Then, under the cover of the night, he slowly flew down and began to search in the Bermuda Triangle. The alien demons were guarding this space loophole and also needed to absorb the devil chi that leaked out of the seal. Naturally, they would not be too far away. About 10 minutes later, he saw a faint light coming from a small island in the fog. This should be the hybrid demon island that Princess Garo mentioned. He slowly approached the small island and discovered that the security here was incomparably tight. There were constant flashes of searchlights, and occasionally, there were some surveillance drones flying over. It could be seen that the alien demons had completely mastered the advanced technology of human beings. Qin Haodong scanned with his spirit. He avoided one defense after another and slowly sneaked into the alien demons' island. The alien demons' island was about 10 square kilometers. After arriving on the island, he found that it was full of modern atmosphere. There were modern high-rise buildings and pavilions. There was also a huge leisure square in the middle of the island. If he did not know better, he would really think that he had come to a tourist attraction. From time to time, there were some low-level alien demons patrolling around the island. These people looked similar to the transformed demon generals. They were more than 2 meters tall and had horns on their heads. Their bodies were covered in black fur, and they looked like bull demon kings. Seeing these people, Qin Haodong was sure that this was the nest of the alien demons' island. It seemed that Princess Garo did not lie to him. He slowly approached the center of the island. When he arrived in front of a 3-story villa, a strong aura was emitted. He could feel that this was the residence of the alien demon emperor. Qin Haodong used an invisibility talisman again and slowly approached the villa. He was even more careful than before. Looking into the villa through the window, he saw a middle-aged man around 50 years old sitting on a comfortable leather sofa. This man was wearing a well-ironed suit, and his hair was neatly combed. If it was not for the strong devil chi that was constantly emitting from his body, one would really think that he was a successful person in the human society. This man's cultivation had already reached the late stage of the divine state. He was the strongest person on the alien demon island. It was obvious that he was the alien demon emperor. Perhaps like Princess Garo, he preferred to look like a human. Therefore, he did not reveal his true identity as an alien demon. The alien demon emperor seemed to be a little anxious. He stood up from the sofa and paced back and forth in the room. He frowned as if he was thinking about something difficult. Qin Haodong wanted to obtain more information. He was not in a hurry to leave. He continued to secretly ask around outside the room. After a while, the alien demon emperor stopped in his tracks. He raised his hand and grabbed the phone on the table. After dialing a string of numbers, the big screen opposite him lit up, and the image of a middle-aged man around 50 years old appeared. King Jianan, how is it? Do you have any news about that girl Garo? The middle-aged man on the screen shook his head and said, Not yet. We have already agreed that she will call me as soon as she kills that kid with the surname Qin. However, after so long there is still no news. The alien demon emperor frowned and said, I have a bad feeling. It is very likely that something has happened to Princess Garo. King Jianan said, How is that possible? Princess Garo is the most outstanding royal member of the alien demon tribe. Her cultivation is comparable to that of a divine state cultivator of the human race. That kid with the surname Qin is only at the early stage of the divine state. No matter how you think about it, Princess Garo will be fine. The alien demon emperor said, Haven't you realized that we have been underestimating Qin Haodong from the beginning? He may have a trump card that we cannot imagine. King Jianan said disapprovingly, Brother, don't worry. In the words of the human race, in the face of absolute power, everything is fleeting. As far as I know, there is no divine state cultivator in the human race. It is impossible for them to pose a threat to Princess Garo. The alien demon emperor thought for a while and said, "No, we cannot wait any longer. Whether that kid with the surname Qin is dead or alive, we must activate our plan. Otherwise, it will be too late." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.